Hello and welcome back to this week's edition of the SAT5. Artie is back. The prodigal son he is risen. He is risen indeed.
We had to sacrifice Rosanna for it to happen.
Yeah, Rosanna is... well, we'll leave it to you to guess where Rosanna currently
a magical evening, and Michael will be very happy. That sounds worse.
Rosanna she's watching a West End show. We'll put it like that. She's watching.
I think they might have got the gist of what show
She's also going on a mad night out after, where she hasn't booked any accommodation. She's just booked a train home at 5 a.m. So
Insane.
Gal's going out.
This week.
No, guys, we have to stop because has just messaged me saying, "Do you know someone?"
Oh, for God's sake!
Oh no! Oh no! This week, guys, we are celebrating what?
A year of Satellite 5.
A year of Satellite 5.
Well, also, notably, Tuesday was National Beer Day. So I'm celebrating that. The party goes on. Sorry.
All right, Grandad.
Also, a
a
merry late Easter to all of you.
Yeah, to all of you at home. Or a merry return of the missing episodes. That happened.
Oh, that did happen. That were dead good, that, wasn't it? I don't know why I said that like that.
I only got back from Italy last night, so I still haven't had chance to see it. That will happen tomorrow.
Me too. Same note.
You know, as one of the real Doctor Who fans on this podcast, it was an absolute sensation to watch it. Beautiful, magnifique.
I've seen some clips.
I was so happy.
I've seen some pirated clips, and the direction of it is very good for classic.
Like a 60s story. It's incredible. Like there's some absolutely lovely directorial choices. Like Katarina reaching out to the stars.
The rose-tinted glasses of you people is crazy. Anyway, what are we doing? What are we doing today?
It's just like a fine wine, Artie. Like a fine wine.
Today, because it is our anniversary, and because I'm slightly jet-lagged, and because I couldn't think of anything better to do, we are going to be discussing all anniversary specials of Doctor Who.
Okay.
And we've got to come up with a definitive list of best to worst.
I've also just realised the irony of Rosanna not being here, like Tom Baker in the Five Doctors. Like she is Tom Baker for the 1 year anniversary.
We'll get her scooped up by the triangle thing.
Yeah, we need someone to make a waxwork or something.
My dad suggested that we should do a Sarah Jane special week as she's not here.
Yeah,
that would have been funny. That would have been funny. The one time we discussed Sarah Jane Adventures when she's not on the podcast, that would be good.
Artie, you appear to have your hand up.
When you say anniversary, is it just show anniversaries, or is Power of the Doctor? You know,
Artie,
do I have more than 2 to talk about?
You will be so excited to hear that Power of the Doctor has indeed made this list.
Speaking of anniversaries as well, did you see that they put out the Series 2 trailer in 4K for the anniversary of Series 2's launch? So, I don't know. Is that a sign? I'm just going to say
I'm almost certain at this point.
Yeah.
He's coming back, isn't Piper about Christmas.
That is what it's going to be, isn't it?
You can't have Tennant. You can't have Piper back and not have Tennant. Like, I feel like that would be kind of silly. We've got Piper. It's happened now. We've got to accept that.
You might as well fully embrace it.
Yeah,
you might as well fully embrace it.
As much as it's like, nostalgia. Tennant's great, isn't he? He's just good.
The thing is, for me, the 60th was one of the best bits of this era. So I'm kind of like, if it could be something vaguely in that vein, I'll be okay with it. I think I'll be more okay with it. Like, obviously, we're going to be going on to talk about one of these episodes in a moment, viewers. But you know how Power of the Doctor was Chris's last one? I think that made me enjoy it more because I was like, I feel if something annoys me about it, it doesn't matter because he's gone. You know, so if we find out like, oh, this is Russell's last one, I'll be like, let him have his little thing where he gets all his toys out, he gets his David Tennant action figure out and his Rose action figure out, and he does whatever.
If Russell gets all his toys out, it's just a 2-person episode with Shooty Gatwa and Alonso. That's Russell with his toys.
Right. Oh dear.
It's not even a show anymore, is it? It's not even a TV show. It's just a series of flashy lights that they put on our screen with no real story behind it.
It's a show for Russell.
Yeah, but the flashy lights are David Tennant, and David Tennant's great.
I don't give a shit anymore. I actually don't. I don't.
If you don't, why do you sound so cross?
Because it's not a story, it's not a show, it's not a TV show. It is just like, it's like when when like Gavin and Stacey comes back for a Christmas episode, like 10 years
good.
But it's like we just keep getting that. The show hasn't ended. Stop acting like it's ended. It's not like that. It's like when they did the Friends reunion, however many years after they did it, except it's like 2 years and they just keep shoving stuff and
Hey, you know, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it'll be fine. I'll have it one time and then I will feel absolutely nothing after
we
the episode.
will get,
Can't wait.
at bare minimum, a subpar Doctor Who episode at Christmas, and that is so much better than the Christmas we just had. You know, I would much prefer a subpar Doctor Who episode at Christmas than no Christmas.
Of course I would, but this comes back to my toxic relationship metaphor, because I'm going to take it. They're giving it to me, and I'll accept it. I'll go, you know what? Yeah, I will keep coming back. You can mess up how many times, and I will be there. I will be there for you every single time, and you just throw it back in my face like it means nothing to you.
See, for me, though, it's like being a teacher and there's a kid who's really shit and like a little shit and he's annoying, but then all of a sudden he'll do a test and get like a C, and you'll be like, you know what? Fair play.
I'm proud of you. We're giving the star of the week because he hasn't thrown a chair at the interactive whiteboard.
Like,
you're doing great.
I am at a point where I completely get where you're coming from, but where I'm at is like at this point I can't bring myself to be mad. I just can't do it. Me a couple of years ago could have done it, but I can't do it anymore.
In your wise old age.
You see, there's two. If they want me to care about the show, I'm going to be mad when it annoys me. I'm happy to take a step back and go, you know what, that's a fine episode, but I won't feel anything anymore.
I agree with you, but I won't be mad 10 months later. Like, at some point, we got to get over it.
No, I haven't got over the 16 specials. I haven't got over them. I know
this is one of the things that is also going to be a year old next week, because it's why SAT5 started. Series 2 of Shooty is nearly a year old, which is kind of mad.
Mad.
Like, it's gone so quick.
1 year, a fan favourite character, Dispossessed Man. Can you believe it? I went down below your favourite Dispossessed Man moments.
Mine is when he does this.
Yeah, the cheer, yeah. I think I love this show, and I think the thing is with it is, like, for me, the way I look at it is that it is basically a different show every couple of years. Obviously, it is the same show, but I think a good way of looking at it is, as shit as it may be on a certain era, one week it could be something completely different.
One day it will come back.
My logic. Even if this Tennant special is nostalgia-y and fan-wanky and a bit naff, it won't matter, because one day you'll get one of the best episodes ever made. Think about it like that.
This is the thing as well, though. Right, I'm going to go out on a bit of a controversial here. Okay, it's not been that bad. It's not been as good. Like, when I recently I've rewatched Father's Day, End of the World, and I've rewatched Lux, The Reality War, and I don't know why, but Space Babies. Okay, and sure, Space Babies is an utterly bizarre script, and I don't think that, but Lux is great. Parts of The Reality War I genuinely do really enjoy.
You're going to have a tougher sell on that.
Mostly liked season 2, okay?
It's just because he's not beating you doesn't mean it's not still domestic abuse.
But I think this is a great relationship, a great metaphor, having a relationship with Doctor Who. You've got to look at things like the Merca and go, you know what? I accept that because no one's perfect. If you're in a functioning relationship, like Doctor Who isn't beating us, guys.
It's not. It's just emotionally manipulating us every single day.
It's manipulating us. It's like, it's not, don't turn me to the dark side. I've been in a good mood so far. I said this to you after the Legend of Ruby Sunday. It's like Mark Horror. He's running a race. He's in the lead. Britain are cheering for him. It's looking good. And then at the last moment, he stops running and shits on the track. It's just not acceptable.
I'm sat there watching the TV being like, can we just have a good day today, please? Can we get through one day with no arguments?
Whenever I feel like that, though, and I will advise this as any form of therapy, it's almost like a universal hotline for when you think like, oh, everything's so bad with Doctor Who. Just watch some of Stu Bagful's recent Doctor Who videos, and you instantly just go like, what a level-headed, calm, logical take, because the internet is on fire and screaming. The thing is, we know.
You should do. You should.
He's a lovely man, but I know Reality War was dog shit.
And you know who else will know that it wasn't as good as it could have been? The one man who knows it more than anyone, the man who was able to produce series 1, 2, 3, and 4, Russell T Davies.
Well, I'm really sorry for him in the same way that I'm really sorry for my boss when she goes, oh, I'm sorry I haven't paid you the last week. It's been really tough for me being a single mum.
Oh my God, we finally figured out who the boss is.
And I'm like, oh, no, I understand that you're in this plight, but you still need to pay me. You still need to pay me on time. Like, really, there's a level here.
Sorry.
Anyway, should we get on to the point of the episode?
Remembering back to a time pre-Reality War. Okay, go on, Thari.
I just think, like, my thing is, there were people in the 80s who would have said, or like in the 90s who would have said, they've made Doctor Who half human. How can the show ever come back from such a ridiculous, ludicrous, craven, decision? There would have been people who said that it was ruined when they were going to do the thing with Sylvester, where they were going to make him like the other or whatever it was. The thing is, every few years there will always be people saying Doctor Who is completely irrecoverable, and then it gets back up again. It gets knocked down and it gets up again. You can never keep it down.
But Zaris, there were people in 1919 saying that will never happen again. It's been worse than it ever was. It could never be that bad. And then 1939 rocked around, didn't it? Stuff always gets worse.
Yeah,
and then that'll never happen again. And now we watch the news. Yeah. We watch the news. What's going on in the news? It's going to happen again. You can
apply the same
logic,
This
is like the drama. The level of dramatisation we have about this show reminds me, let's go meta, of Ian Levine writing Doctor in Distress based on Feed the World. Like I think this is probably, we've reached that kind of level.
I think they're just as important causes.
And on that note, we'll go back in time.
I don't actually want to make that clear.
Just before someone clips that and puts it on Twitter, we'll go back in time to 19. It was a cold, wet night in November. 52 years ago. It was 1973. The Three Doctors. That's our first anniversary special ever to discuss. And I've got to say, right off the bat, I think it is one of the best pieces of Doctor Who ever made. I love Omega, as we all know, and that is why. Because when he's in the other episode in Classic Who, the Arc of Infinity,
Arc of Infinity.
He's all right. He's fine. But The Three Doctors is one of the best pieces of Doctor Who media ever made, ever.
The Three Doctors is my favourite multi-Doctor to this day. I think it's the one that handles the concept the best and the balancing of the different Doctors. I think with a lot of other ones, because one of the best things about that story is the dynamic between Troughton and Pertwee, the sort of confrontational dynamic they have. And I think with a lot of recent multi-Doctor shenanigans, if you like, is that they're very non-combative and very friendly. And while that's fun in its own way, I think it is kind of fun to be like, fucking hate you, and I'm like, oh, I hate you. It's like, you know, it's kind of fun in its own way as well. And Artie, you know, because we're talking about classic Who, has completely given up on life.
Oh, I do love that the Doctor in that story is very like if you met younger versions of yourself,
Yes,
you would just be like, oh, shut up. He's going to bed. You would just be like, shut up. And I love like the dandy and a clown, all that. It's great stuff. Artie, what are your thoughts on the Three Doctors?
You know what? That's the stuff, man. Oh, I was just talking to Joe recently about that episode and the moments that we all remember.
Artie has actually watched it, and I have a video of me, Artie, and Ellie, who else? There's a couple of other. Ben Lowell, he's there. We all watched it in preparation for Echo's End, and I've got that on recording somewhere.
When was this?
In your garden, in the man cave, as it were.
Not if Ellie was in there. Spoil sport. No, I'm just... Sorry. I remember little bits, and it's charming in the way that Classic Who is charming. I have never sat down to properly watch it, but I'm sure it has earned its place. Please talk to someone else.
See, when you talk about classic Doctor Who, it's like getting a politician who doesn't like another politician try and say something nice about them.
Yeah, what is Artie?
What I love about Hillary is she's committed. She's committed. She knows what she wants. I don't know what she wants, but she knows it.
Let's just air your dirty laundry right now, Artie. What is your beef with Classic Who? Why do you hate it so much?
I've sat down to watch Classic Who. The zooming camera is usually amusing, but it's frankly getting on my nerves.
I think you activated it.
Classic. It's. I've sat down to watch it a few times, and it's almost always when I'm ill, so you can blame it on that, you know, because I'm in a bad mood anyway, because someone's given me a cold, and it's just boring. Like, the last time I sat down to watch Classic Who was when we knew Sutek was coming, you know.
What's the opposite of clock it? Like, how do you do that in reverse?
Retract it. I don't know. Retract.
Scratch that. Reverse.
Scratch that. Reverse it.
Oh, I hate Timothy Chalamet. Sorry, carry on, Auntie.
He spent 7 years travelling the world. Sorry. Don't get me started on Timothy Chalamet.
Well,
anyway.
There's chocolate and there's...
Noodle, cake.
Artie, speak.
You want me? Oh, I thought you were riffing. It's boring. Come on now, let's not pretend. The last time I sat and watched it, we knew Sutek was coming back. I watched Pyramid of Mars. It's got its moments. Tom Baker's a talented guy. No one's saying he's not. But it's just not good.
Tom Baker isn't in this one, Artie.
Yeah,
he's on about Pyramids of Mars.
What about Pyramids of Mars?
I know, and I'm saying we're getting off topic, and can we just
stop mansplaining, please?
I tried to go to sleep. You involved. Talk about the episode. I'll join in when we get to the 50th. Okay.
Hashtag what I find fascinating is the viewers of this podcast. The old people always love Artie when he's slagging off New Who.
Can't call them old Starries, or they're going to tune out.
Okay,
the
I'm sorry.
Later in life viewers.
The vintage.
That feels worse.
Later in life sounds like they're like on end of life care.
The really lovely people who comment actually really lovely things, being like, this reminds me of me and my friends talking about Doctor Who back in the day.
Point is,
I was sharing that at the moment, but go on.
No.
I was going to agree with Elise, I can't lie. Those are some of my favourite comments to read.
They're really lovely, and I really enjoy reading them. So thank you.
It's lovely. Shout out to all of you lot.
But my point is, they all love Artie until he opens his mouth about classic Doctor, and then
I'm here for the viewers. I'm here for the babes.
What I will say, to not play devil's advocate, but I can slightly see where Artie is coming from. Now, put your pitchforks down, okay? We're going to be okay. As I said earlier, when you're a fan of Doctor Who, you do... Like, I love the format and the concept of the show probably the most out of it. Like, it is such a good idea for a show. But when you have absolute dross, like the Horns of Nymon, like what on earth is going? Like how many Nymons? Like what is that?
Wow, that's
okay,
iconic,
it's funny, and it's like the Merker as well. Okay, you look back on it, and I love it for what it is. It's so like iconic, but if you're not in love with Doctor Who, why on earth would you be like, yeah, that's great? Because Artie, face it, you're not in love with Doctor Who, you're in love with New Who. I think that's fair to say.
Hey, no, I'll refuse.
So does your love extend to Classic Who?
Hey, look, let's say I fall in love with someone and in the past they killed a person. I love them now. That doesn't mean I have to approve of everything they did. Okay?
It's getting quite niche, Artie.
Why are you talking about the episode? I want to get to the 50th.
The analogy doesn't really make any sense.
It does a bit, I suppose.
I kind of get it. Okay, look, I think there's definitely Classic Who stories where you're like, bloody hell, this is really struggling a bit. But I think for me, it depends on the story. It depends on the story, because like I know some people struggle with Genesis of the Daleks, for example. But for me, I could sit and watch Genesis of the Daleks all 6 parts one sitting at the time of my life. It really just depends on if the story is good, because also
it's why
a lot of the reason why Classic Who is like that is they literally had to pad it out for like
this is what I was going to say. It's why I really, really, really respect. People always complain about it and they always whine about it, but I love like Daleks in Colour and the re-edit of the War Games. I'm not going to lie, I don't think I would have ever sat through all 12 parts of the War Games. I just like this. I don't have time, but I was happily able to watch that story properly. Like I've watched a couple of episodes of it before, but I could watch it in colour, restored, for a fried attention span. I could watch it and appreciate it, and I think that is a very good move. And people saying it's like cultural vandalism. It's like, no.
I think the only thing I didn't like was like the weird...
Because like the extended editions of Lord of the Rings are not good movies, but I love the real versions of them. So I'll watch the extended because it gives me more of what I love. And there's no way to consume Classic Who where you get less. And that's what I want. I want less.
You want the TikTok edit. You want
there are now. But this is the new season, is it 21? I think it's 21, where they've updated the Merker. I've watched that, the new version of the Warriors of the Deep.
What is the Merker?
It's like a lizard
just
thing.
Search it up. Just watch it while we're discussing it, because it's famously the worst thing ever. It's what Michael Grade put in Room 101, effectively. It was just shocking.
There's that and the gargoyles.
They've updated that for it's still a puppet. Like they've made it a puppet, but updated the effects for if they had a bigger budget back in the day, this is what it should have looked like, and it is so much more watchable. Like it's lovely, and I love Classic Who, I really do, but I do think we also have to acknowledge that it doesn't appeal to everyone, I think taste just changes as the years go on. But the highs of Classic Who are so high that I will sit through the occasional Horns of Nymon.
The only issue I have with the re-edits...
Yeah.
Well, I was going to make a rare point on Classic Who, but just because, like, obviously a lot of people that love it and that now love Doctor Who loved it because they saw it at the time in which it was not as clearly dated as it is now. And I am the most random Classic Who watcher. I watched the episodes that I remember watching, and I watched like the Green Death and Castrovalva on repeat, but that's kind of it, really. I'm making my way very slowly through, but I've made it to season 2, so very, very slowly. But like those episodes, I will watch absolutely no trouble because I'm like, it's got such a little special place in my heart. Obviously, it's rose-tinted glasses. Obviously, it's nostalgia bias, but it was it. But just because I think the relationship analogy is better rather than saying that it's killed someone, being like, oh, I'm in love with this person. They were once a 10-year-old. That doesn't mean I'm in love with a 10-year-old. But when I was 10, I could have been in love with that 10-year-old, and I'll hold a special place in my heart. No?
I don't know. I think that's a bit dodgy, mate.
I really don't.
Murder in it. I was still more comfortable with my analogy.
I think that's a bit dodgy, mate. I don't know.
That is literally all I could think of there was in the in-betweeners when Neil's just like, yeah, but you still fancy an 8-year-old. No, Neil, I'm also going to have to cut that. I'm not saying that on camera.
When I was 16, I went out with someone who was 16. I was 16 at the time.
Please, how could you?
And I went out with a 16-year-old now.
And when you were 22, you went out with a 39-year-old.
Yeah, the logic kind of broke there.
Okay, can we just put that one to one side at one point? Do you get what I'm trying to say, though, with the kind of the love will always be there, particularly for the people that, like, I think it's probably quite rare that someone who just randomly scrolls onto BBC iPlayer and pops on An Unearthly Child is then going to watch the full show. That's quite rare.
Ever has. I wonder
I
if
bet
anyone's
they
ever done
have.
it.
There definitely are people that are very committed. No,
I wonder if they exist.
That's the problem with Classic Who, though, because An Unearthly Child is one of the best pieces of television ever made. It does everything it needs to do. The pacing is perfect. Even to this day, you don't need a re-edit. You don't need a colorization.
2, 3, and 4.
No, but this is what I was about. Tharis, you're jumping the gun here. An Unearthly Child is so good, and then it is followed by 3 episodes of absolute drivel. The Doctor's about to bash a caveman's head in. I can't even remember what happens because
Tell me what my father did to
The
me.
Daleks poison them with radiation energy.
no,
That's
but
what
see,
it is.
when the Daleks come in weeks later,
good.
that's like, oh, that's
And hang on,
nice.
what's the first one?
But this is the problem. You get An Unearthly Child, which is 20 minutes. Then the next 3 parts, because they're all serials, are just them pissing about with cavemen. Like,
Yeah, but that's because, and then you get the Keys of Marinus, which I absolutely love. Like, I think that is such a good. But this is what I mean. I don't have any good opinions of Classic Who. It's just randomly the ones that I find quite funny.
I think
What
that's
we
fair
need
enough,
is the
though.
BBC to do what Disney did with the Clone Wars, because the Clone Wars is not a good show. I'll say it on the internet. It's for children. It's boring. Just like Classic Who. But Disney knows there are some gems in there that you can find. So Disney had a bunch of the actors and the directors and all the people who know the show to release lists. And there are definitive lists of the episodes that you should watch. There should be a section on iPlayer saying, if you are not boring and pathetic...
It's what my dad gave me because I wasn't getting through it fast enough. It annoyed at me, and he gave me a list of the relevant ones. And then went, I'll stop there until you've caught up.
Did he not
So
put
this-
the
if you want
Romans on
this-
there?
We need the Melv section on iPlayer. That's what we
Leave a
do.
Mel
Well,
card,
there used to
classically.
be. It's actually funny you mentioned it. When it was on BritBox, when Chibnall was showrunner, there was a bit that said like Chris Chibnall's favourite classic Doctor Who stories, and it had like a bunch of his favourite ones.
well, he did it for Power of the Doctor.
Yes,
I remember
that
in
was it.
Doctor Who
Yeah.
magazine it said,
Yeah.
like, if you want to know what on earth's going on, because there's about 5 million plot threads, watch this, and this.
Yeah.
And it's, I do
and we
think...
still didn't know, but that's.
We'll discuss Power of the Doctor later.
No.
But it is genuinely, I think, Classic Who, there's some absolute like Tom Baker's stuff. Just him, Tom Baker, is, I think, probably the best actor to take on, the best Doctor in himself. Everything he says. There was, I can't remember what episode it's from, but it hit me the other day, and it's so funny. He says something like, because also it would be dialogue that's slightly cringe if anyone else said it, but Tom Baker says it, and you're like, yeah, that makes so much sense. He was, I can't remember. It was something about stand. I'm determined to remember it. Stand. What's phrases with stand in?
Stand firm.
No.
Stand up and fight.
No, it's like a.
Give us some more to go on, and we'll have that.
Men of the West.
No,
All you've
not
said
like
is
a.
that-
Like it's like
That's a Lord of the Rings quote, Ellie.
it's.
All you've said is the word stand, and I'm beginning to feel left out.
I'm still standing.
No.
Can I make a
Yeah.
quick point very quickly whilst you're
Yeah, I'm
figuring this out?
gonna have to Google it.
My one issue with the re-edits, or at least the War Games in Colour one, I heard that the Sea Devils one was less egregious for this. I don't like when they put the little new whoisms in at the end. Like, I don't need to see a PNG of Peter Capaldi's face in the War Games when he's looking at the monitor of all the different faces. I'm sorry, it's Ben Cook, nice guy, but like, not a fan of that, I'm afraid.
I don't know. I thought it was quite fun.
It gives me kind of the vibe of, you know, like when they do the like George Lucas, he did the CGI when he redid the original trilogy with like the CGI and stuff like that. And it's like some of these things just didn't need change, you know.
Yeah,
you know?
Sorry.
Sometimes
I've managed to find what I was looking for. It's going to be so utterly underwhelming. But he says, someone says, well, it stands to reason. And Tom Baker goes, stupid expression, stands to reason. Why isn't it lie down to reason? It's much easier to reason lying down. Which is just beautiful. And then it's followed with the do you mind not standing on my chest? My hat's on fire. And it's like, oh, you just, it's so good.
I like
so good.
The line in Robot I always like. It's like, don't like the word impregnable. Sounds a lot like unsinkable. What's wrong with unsinkable? Nothing, as the iceberg said to the Titanic.
Yeah, it is.
Glug, glug, glug.
It's so good. Glug, glug.
No,
anyway,
that's what he says. That's what he says.
Three Doctors, banger. I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, honestly. Genuinely, 9 out of 10.
I'll say 9. I'll say 9 because I don't like that one bit where I know that you might like. I don't know actually whether you do. I shouldn't judge. I shouldn't predispose.
Yeah, don't judge Harry's.
Yeah, no. The bit where he's fighting Omega in his mind. And it's like the sort of, you know exactly what I want about the weird wrestling thing.
You will fight the dark corners of.
Yeah, not big on that.
Yeah, I also, as much it's iconic, so I love it because it's iconic. But it's just like, what on earth is going on when Omega takes his helmet off and there's nothing there? Great concept, but why does he go? What's going on? But it's a great story. It's beautiful. Genuinely. It's so good.
I love campy classic Who villain performances though. It's one of my favourite parts of it. So yeah, but like a lot of them are
that's a good segue, right? Campy classic Who villain performances. Our next anniversary special was the 5 Doctors for the 20th anniversary. That, Artie.
Surely you've seen this one, surely you have something to say about the 5 Doctors.
I've seen this one. I have seen the other one, but I just haven't seen it in a way that I could talk about coherently on the internet.
Artie, have you watched it?
So, you've shown it to me, but it's like when Joe shows me stuff, there's like a whole group of us there.
You probably would enjoy this more because it's formatted not like a normal classic.
I didn't say I didn't enjoy the previous one.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
You alluded to it.
It is.
The pacing of this is very different.
I won't enjoy either.
No, the pacing of the 5 Doctors is very different from your standard classic Doctor Who.
It is, very simply put, Power of the Doctor Classic Edition. It's let's jam in loads of people for no reason. Susan's here, Sarah Jane's back. It's loads of fun. Let's just do some cool Doctor Who stuff.
I think that's a bit insult to the 5 Doctors. So
no, I'm not being funny. It literally is. Because I love Power of the Doctor. I love the 5 Doctors. But you can't lie. Because they also both have the Master. Like, I loved Sasha's Master in Spyfall. But I don't quite... Like, he's still good. But there's lines like...
Last time I saw you, I was the cat.
Yeah,
no, that's
like,
great.
What's that? And then, when he says as well, he goes like... tell me what the food menu is. I'm human intolerant. It's like, shut up.
To be fair, this is the same guy who said it's red because it's drenched in the blood of our people.
I love that though.
Man was never known for subtlety. Man was never subtle.
It's just, he kind of feels like he's just playing a crazy guy. It's not necessarily it's just like, oh, we need a kind of really camp sort of scary he's a bit psycho. He might break into a dance routine. And that was the notes.
He's not like other villains.
Not like the other boys.
Speaking of the 5 Doctors, Anthony Ainley as the Master, I've got to say, I'm sorry, guys. No.
What?
I love him. No, I love him.
No. Oh.
I love him.
So bad.
I love him.
It's
That's
cringe.
criminal. That's criminal.
Roger Delgado came in, absolutely ate up that role, did basically the best master we've ever had. Like, John Sim, great. Michelle Gomez, great. Sasha, great. Anthony Ainley, like, he's fun, and he's probably the master with the most stories. But just like,
No,
I can't lie, I prefer the guy in the face of the Curse of the Fatal Death. Even he's better. Like, there's just Anthony Ainley. It's just ridiculous, but in a good way, in a fun way.
I can't lie. No, I mean he is very over the top, but that's why it's great. Like that's why it's great.
Jonathan Pryce in Curse of the Fatal Death. He's fantastic. Carry on. Sorry.
Is who in Curse of the Fatal Death? I didn't hear what you
It's
said.
Jonathan Pryce.
It's Jonathan Pryce.
I think it is. Let me just.
He would have
fact-check
been a
that.
good master in the actual show, in fairness.
He would be amazing. I love Jonathan Pryce.
He's really, really good in Curse of the Fatal Death.
Never
Genuinely.
people his makeup from when he was in Miss Saigon on the West End. It'll only make you sad.
But yeah, there's not loads to say on the Five Doctors because it's just.
What I will
Tom
say.
Baker's not in it.
I know.
Well, Tom Baker's not in it, so Artie.
Well, actually, he technically is.
He's in it, and it's filmed in
yeah, but
Cambridge.
he's in it.
The bit of him in the Five Doctors has always baffled me because, right, in Sharda they have a scene they recorded of him running away from like a ball, and he's cycling through Oxford or Cambridge or wherever it is. All of this cool stuff. And why on earth do you go with a bit where he's on like a gondola boat in a lake and then he just gets zapped up? Why don't you have him the chase scene? The chase scene would be
Maybe
so
they couldn't
good.
find it.
I was going to say they didn't want to reuse footage, but then I remembered. And for my next trick,
That's what I'm saying. Tom Baker is in it in the same way Christopher Eccleston is in Day of the Doctor. It's like, sure,
Well, no, because
kind of.
the footage was never used because it's from Sharda.
Yeah.
So it never got to air because of the strikes. So they literally have unaired footage of Tom Baker on a bike cycling away from a thing. Why was that not in the Five Doctors?
One thing that's always baffled me about the Five Doctors is that one bit where Third Doctor and Sarah are driving through the death zone, and Sarah Jane falls over, and it's like at the tiniest drop you've ever seen in your life, and she's like, "Oh my god, how am I gonna get out?" And it's like this tiny slump in the grass, and like John Pertwee's got this whole rope to like rescue her from the tiniest like.
And the warrior robot thing that does
that's
that.
iconic.
That's terrible.
The rest
It's
of
terrible.
No.
It's so bad, but in the greatest way
It
possible.
reminds me of Pepsi Man, which makes me love it. Also, like the Death Zone as a concept, the idea of let's take all these villains and have them fight out to the death in like an arena. That's kind of sick, and the sort of messed up thing the Time Lords would do. Other thing I'll say, Richard Herndl as First Doctor, it does start that thing that I don't like of he's just the sexist one. That's his main that's his main thing. Because people give Moffat slack for doing that, but to be fair, the Five Doctors also does do it.
I see. I've got a mildly controversial take on that. I think it's slightly funny.
It's slightly funny.
I
but
get that because, like, I get it, but also I get the desire to acknowledge like we've moved on, because as much as people say like Doctor Who has always been a liberal left-wing show, there have been moments in its history or words used or prosthetics used that make you in the modern age go, oh my god, why did they do that?
Possibly be talking about given recent events.
It's like I can get why they'd want to almost acknowledge that in the text. There's just like a funny little like, oh, the First Doctor's era had a little bit of, but also then is it character assassination?
But
Is it also just a little bit funny? I also
find it kind of like ironic coming from like Twice Upon a Time, given like half of like Stephen Moffat's uses of women in his era, and you're like, oh, thank
Just
God
about
we're not,
to say this. I was
thank
like,
God we're not
Moffat, you do
sexist
not,
anymore.
you don't get to call the misogyny card, Moffat. Like the amount of, I remember being a teenager and suddenly finding out there was like people would talk about Doctor Who on the internet. And I was like, oh, this is so exciting! Wow! And people like hated Amy because of how she treated Rory. Obviously not great at the start, but I'm doing season 5. I'm doing my whole rewatch, and I'm in season 5 at the moment, and I love it. I love it. But like a man writes a female character, makes her do morally inconsistent things. Everyone goes, oh, she's such a bitch. And then that man goes, oh, guys, wasn't the first Doctor so sexist? Oh, it's like, come on.
Let's not forget this is the same, like, obviously not the same era, but like the same showrunner whose like era had a mystery wrapped in an enigma that's just squeezed into a skirt. It's just a little bit too tight. Like, yeah. I think that's the bit that bothers me with Twice Upon a Time. It's like, if you're going to call out that, then I think you got a bit of like if Russell
the 11th Doctor during Series 7B was something.
Yeah.
That man,
the thing
he
is,
could
like,
not be stopped.
If it was Russell calling it out, or even Chibnall, I might be like, it's a bit more true. And I love Stephen Moffat, and I don't mean this in like a I hate Stephen Moffat kind of way, but it's like
that's certainly what it's sounding like.
No, but like I don't, because I love Stephen Moffat and I love that era, and like Matt Smith's my favourite. But like, come on, are we really going to sit there and pretend that like this era was like perfect about women when you got Matt Smith slapping everyone's ass in Series 7? Like, I'm sorry.
There's also
Screwdriver going up for me. That always makes me go, oh.
Just the imagery is burnt into my mind to bring this back to the 5 Doctors. But Richard Hurtnell nibbling on the like the whatever it is, like melon or like pineapple chunks. I think it's pineapple chunks. He's just
he's like a little gremlin. I don't know why they shot it like that.
I think it might be the Review of Death, but some other Doctor Who reviewer made me absolutely like, I can't watch it now without just thinking, yeah, Carol Ann Ford does very clearly find Peter Davison quite attractive in this, and he's her grandfather. But we'll move on from the 5 Doctors. Over what are we going to give it? I'm going to give it like a solid 60 out of 100. I could have gone 6 out of 10.
Why are we going half 100?
Yeah, I go a bit higher. I would say a 7 because it's a good time. It's a good time.
It's a lot of fun,
I think,
but compared to the 3 Doctors...
Oh, yeah, no. Well, I give the 3 Doctors a 9, though. So by logic, like, it is a fair amount. It is a fair amount better. The thing is with the 5 Doctors is it's almost like the perfect theme park distillation of what classic Doctor Who is. You know how people talk about how Disney kind of, like, they make the theme park version of, like, a certain type of culture or film? That's kind of what the 5 Doctors is. It's the greatest hits of classic Doctor Who distilled into one, admittedly a bit messy, but very fun package. Also, like, Marusa's cool. He's a vibe. So that's what
Elise, what are you going to give it out of 10 then?
I'm giving it a 7. I think it's absolutely iconic. I just think the triangle will be remembered forever and ever and ever. I just think it's a fun time. I think you get we're getting the bang gang back together. No, fuck. It was fun. It's fun.
You know what? I'm going to give it a 6.5. Maybe a 7. 6. See, 6 sounds too harsh.
It does sound a bit
7 feels
Doctors is like, it's such a special moment. It's one of those that I go, I don't really care. It's one that I can go, you know what? I will forgive it. It's trespassers. Because it's a fun time.
Okay,
Also,
we'll settle on a 7. We'll collectively give it a 7. Artie, what's your score?
He's actually having that.
I'm having. I think it's good.
Also, with the 5 Doctors, you get the iconic sound effect, which is the tower of. I love the Tower of Rassilon noise. Whenever I think of I see someone that I don't want to see, that's something will play in my mind. In the back of my head.
We will move on from that.
Yes.
Okay. 2. We're not gonna discuss it because honestly, I haven't watched it since I was in, I think, like year 11. But technically, the next special up is the Silver Nemesis. because it was the 25th anniversary. So technically, I mean, you could also technically Remembrance of the Daleks.
Yeah, Remembrance in my heart is the real 25th anniversary. I know it isn't, but it is. And it is beautiful.
And you know what? We'll just say Daleks, destroy another Daleks. That instantly goes to like 8 out of 10.
Also, the story's just banging as well. Like the whole the racial allegory stuff. Like Sylvester McCoy's giving it his all. That's the every great ripples, every great decision. That's such a good Doctor speech. And also the guy in the cafes, the butler bloke in Fresh Prince, which I always find insane when I find that out.
I also love the aura of Sylvester McCoy just sort of like walking up to the Dalek at the end, like, "You've lost, mate," and he's just like, "Oh, I'm going to kill myself," and just blows up.
Ashes,
aura.
Dust.
Also, the practical effects on that are so cool. Like, I love the Dalek spaceship from Remembrance. Yeah, and so does Artie, because Artie, you took great inspiration from that spaceship when designing the Dalek Crucible spaceship for Echo's Destiny, didn't you?
I legit have not been listening. Which episode are you talking about? I haven't seen Silver Nemesis.
Mate, Remembrance of the Daleks.
Yes, I do actually like them. I do like those. They're so cool. It's so much better than just like a flying saucer. There's not really any other sci-fi ships like. I love the way they slot together. I would love to see a more unique design for modern Dalek spaceships. Actually, sod unique. I would love to see a return to that design for modern Dalek spaceships. And I did take inspiration from that. It was directed by Joe, so I can't take credit for it, but I did take inspiration. Yeah. Anyways,
I love how
they are the best Dalek ships. They're so cool. He's woken
up now. He is like the Dalek in Dalek when like Rose and reanimate.
I like the white as well. I think the gold is cool.
The Imperial Daleks. Aura. The Imperial Daleks are just aura. Like,
it's so cool to just see Daleks blowing up Daleks. I know that also, it's childish, but it's so cool.
Special weapons Dalek is just
it's fun.
Sick.
Did you know? Because I want to know how true of a fan you are. Where did you go at the weekend where the Daleks blew up other Daleks?
Oh, I'm not going to know. The suspension bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
That's from Jodie's.
I did know.
You know when they fly onto it? That's where it takes place.
Course,
yeah.
No, of course, yeah.
Such a waste. They could have done more of that. Do more of that.
That is probably my favourite bit in the entire Jodie Whittaker era is those Daleks on the Clifton suspension bridge just beefing it out, going like, "Oh, we're going to kill you now, we're going to kill you," and then you've got bloody Donald Trump man there going like, "Take me to your leader." It's
God, I forgot he was in that.
It's the art of the deal. I'm going to come in.
I did literally 1 a.m. in the morning, and we were in a club, and Rosanna went, "We need to leave now," and I was like, "Okay." She puts me in an Uber. We get out. It's the Clifton suspension bridge. 1 o'clock in the morning. She goes, "There you go," and we walk home. Perfectly timed, beautiful sightseeing trip.
There you go. But I think that moves us on to our next special, which we'll also only talk about briefly.
Oh no! Ooh. Okay, no, I was going to mention one, but no. Well, I think technically, if you're counting dimensions, do we count Time Crash as well? The Peter Davison, David Tennant.
One.
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
No, the Peter Davison. Yeah, I mean, are we counting that when we get to it?
No, we're not, because what's that the anniversary of?
Well, what's the anniversary of Power of the Doctor of? I guess it's 100 years of the BBC, but it's not an anniversary.
Wasn't it also like some kind of something to do with New Who? Ignore me, actually. I've just remembered I don't care.
But no, our next special up.
Was it 15 years of New Who?
No, it was not. Dimensions in Time. Dimensions in Time.
What are our thoughts?
EastEnders crossover. It's all right, isn't it? It's funny. It's crap. It's dreadful, but in the best way possible.
This.
Joe made us watch this through. Like he I think you Discord shared it and made us all watch it, actually.
I'd seen it before then. I'd seen it of my own accord.
Wow.
To be fair, it's probably the shortest piece of classic Doctor Who you could possibly watch. So that probably
is. It also feels like it's designed to be like TikTok clips. It's just look, it's the Sixth Doctor with Susan.
All going on a long journey, a very long journey. Like, well, who else could have masterminded such a genius operation? You kind of like anyone else. Anyone else.
Literally anyone. It's just, you're all going on a journey. A very long journey.
I also love how Tom Baker is in Windows 95. That's great.
And there's a microphone there. He's talking
they
to a
didn't even
microphone.
bother to cut the microphone out. And if you want to see our full reaction to Dimensions in Time, there is actually a video you can watch.
There is.
The way you just switched up so quickly, Darius, into marketing mode, I admire you.
Thank you.
But it's not a real episode of Doctor Who.
No.
It's silly, it's fun, and for what it is so iconic that I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10.
You also get to see Noel Edmonds pretending to give a damn about Doctor Who, which is funny in itself as well.
doesn't because John Pertwee comes out the TARDIS and he just fat shame Noel Edmonds.
He does. I heard he goes. John Pertwee goes to fucking Noel Edmonds and he's like, I heard he was thick. I thought they were talking about his waist. And it's like, what the fuck?
It's so good. It's dreadful. Okay, Dimensions in Time, 11 out of 10. We can't give it a proper ranking, I feel, because it's not a real episode. It's
the best one.
Yeah, but that... No.
Madam, what year is this?
What year is this?
13.
And we're back. Elise has gained a brownie or chocolate
Is it a
cake?
brownie?
It's a brownie. I got in today and my sister went, oh, by the way, I've made you a 3-course meal.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, what? I had mozzarella, homemade mozzarella bites for starter.
Oh.
I had a red lentil, vegetarian bolognese for my dinner.
That bit sounds
And now
nice,
I've got
good.
a homemade brownie.
That's
Fair play.
insane.
I know.
Wow.
It's
Well,
amazing,
shout
isn't it?
out
And then
to
the other
whichever
sister
one
was
that
there
was.
pouring me drinks. I felt a lovely welcome home today.
Was there a reason? Does she want something from you? I don't understand
think so.
why.
I just said, thank you for making this. And she goes, I've just had a very productive day today. So,
Wow.
Well, there you go.
And they say that Gen Z is not productive. They lie. They lie.
Oh, but guys, you know what that brings us to? Do you know where we are currently?
In our
Save the
our
day,
houses?
guys. Hashtag save the day. It is Day of the Doctor, the 50th anniversary special. Which
no, sorry. Night of the Doctor first, please, and thank you.
Sorry.
I was going to give it a little
Time
caveat
crash of the.
of I consider name, night, day, time as one big whopper of a story. Because it is, in it. It's all like the Doctors. They all sort of directly follow into each other. It's the Trenzalore arc. Do we want to discuss it as a block, or shall we just do Day of the Doctor on its own?
I can talk about Time of the Doctor on its own for ages. So I think.
I think we're going to spend too much time on it because I feel
I would like to briefly talk about how Name the Doctor is crap, though.
It's really not. I've said it so many times. That made me a Doctor Who fan. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. I fell in love with it at that moment.
It's basically fine. It's just like when you follow it up with Night of the Doctor, maybe the best thing to ever come out of New Who. And then Day of the Doctor, one of the most hype things to come out of New Who. And then Time of the Doctor, one of the most epic goodbyes to any Doctor. And you start it off with Matt Smith struggling to convince me as he cries on Clara's sofa.
No, see, that's the worst bit you could have picked about why that episode is bad. That is a good performance from him. The bit that's not great
It's not me.
It's just, it is time for you. Also, they waste Richard E. Grant. Let's be real. They waste Richard E. Grant as the Great Intelligence.
No,
But don't worry, he'll come back in Rogue as a weird floaty PNG.
Well, no, that's the Schalke
reason.
Doctor, not the.
Actually, that's Richard E. Grant. Sorry, is this what you just said?
Yes,
with all of the doctors,
he's not playing the same character.
With all of the people that have been wasted in Doctor Who, I wouldn't say Richard E. Grant because he got brought back for that episode. And I think he did a fantastic job in The Snowman. And that is what I love having these big actors for, to come in to be like the main character in an episode and then go away on their journey. And the fact that he got to come back, I don't think that's
Pretty good as well.
Let's talk about Olivia Colman. Let's talk about Stephen Fry.
About Ian McKellen. Like, he was in The Snowman, no one noticed.
Yeah, but he only did a voice, to be fair.
No, but that's what I'm saying. You've got Ian McKellen on the payroll. Everyone remembered when Alan Cumming was in it because you gave his voice something to do. It's like you got Ian McKellen.
He did it twice.
Everyone remember when Alan Cumming was in it, and you can't remember the main time Alan Cumming was in it with his actual face.
Oh, he's the best part of that episode.
So, I don't like that episode. Let's just wait until Artie figures it out. Alan Cumming is literally like one of the main characters in an entire episode as a person.
Because they weren't sure whether to bring him back for Lux.
Yeah.
But they were like, oh, we will because we're only bringing him back with his voice, so it's not too bad. And the characters are so distinct from each other.
I also think they reuse actors all the time, so who cares? Like, it's like,
Artie, you will have last watched this episode in, I imagine, 2018.
Is he in Jodie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Do you not remember this?
I mean, who cares?
It's one of the best bits about that series.
He's King James the First.
He's the Witchfinder General.
Yeah.
He's King James, isn't he?
Yes. No, he is in it. Sorry, I did completely forget that, but I do remember.
But no, Day of the Doctor's good, isn't it? Let's stick on topic. Day of the Doctor, what we thinking? Banger, 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 banger. There's a lot of classic fans, though. But before, maybe Elise is going to agree with them, because I want to see you guys in the comments as well. A lot of people don't like it. And it tends to be classic fans that weren't particularly fond of it.
I remember watching a Stu Bagfull video about it when it came out, because I loved The Day of the Doctor. It's one of the episodes that always gets played in our house because it's the only one that I only really found interesting. And then when she started her rewatch now, she's got to Day of the Doctor and has stopped, and I'm still trying to convince her to carry on.
How can you stop after that?
I know, but she was like, that's what I wanted to do. So it's played all the time. So there's a lot of like an emotional significance for me with that episode. Turn on Stu Bagfull's, and he came up with like an alternate story or something. And it had Susan in it as well, and I was like, oh, I can actually see how, I don't know, the fact that video, I didn't go into defensive mode about the episode. I was like, oh no, I see where you're coming from, actually. I can see why you would be really disappointed if you were a classic fan, because there wasn't anything really classic in it at all.
Tom Baker, though.
I was incredibly defensive of the Classic Who people in the start of this podcast. So I say this with love. We have Power of the Doctor coming up later. That episode is essentially what they all wanted the 50th anniversary to be, in essence, where you get all the classic Doctors in it. And I mean this with the greatest respect as someone who loves all the classic Doctors, loves all the classic characters. That would not have worked for the 50th anniversary. It just wouldn't have. The general public, who, let's face it, were actually still watching the show at the time, would have looked at it and gone, who the hell are these people? And I love the classic Doctors, and I love that they got their thing in Power of the Doctor, but you can only do a Power of the Doctor now, because let's face it, by Power of the Doctor's time and now, it's only the fans still watching at this stage.
I think culturally you can do it more now, and it's why Russell thought this Whoniverse thing was a great idea, because you have 3 Spider-Men meeting up from different, like, culturally we are used to this now, whereas even back in 2013 you didn't really have Do you know, like, and
We
you
had the
could
Five-ish
still do
Doctors,
it.
though. That's
The
my
Five-ish
favourite
Doctors
show.
was class.
Coming
That is one of the best
alongside
pieces of Doctor
is
Who media.
absolutely brilliant.
That's the
It's
thing. I'm
so
kind
good.
of like, for classic Doctor Who fans, you got Five-ish Doctors, you got Adventure in Space and Time. I don't think classic Doctor Who was forgotten, really. And you get Tom Baker cameoing at the
A lot
end.
of them just, from what I've heard, they just didn't like the story. Because also, I suppose, as a kid, I hadn't seen the Terror of the Zygons, but I could understand now, after I've seen it, they're a bit random to shove in the 50th. Like,
Yeah, they
but
are
then-
odd choice.
But this is the toy maker's quite random to shove in the 60th, and I think that the reason why I really love the 50th is because it is a story in its own right. It doesn't have to be a special, which I can understand why that would disappoint people because it's not as special as all the specials. But it really, like, you wouldn't need to have all of this prior knowledge going in. It works as a standalone piece. It doesn't try and wow you with fan service, but there's so much good fan service in there. I loved it so much that I showed it to my best friend who'd never watched an episode of Doctor Who ever before, and she was like, I don't get it. And I was like, yeah, actually, fair enough. I shouldn't have started with this one, should I?
I will retract my clock. I was going to say, the point I thought you were getting to was basically that it's more digestible as a piece of television
is.
to normal people than A Power of the Doctor is.
It
and
absolutely is, yeah.
And I do think for the time in which it released, that made more sense to do. Like, I don't think you could have made Power of the Doctor in 2013. I don't think it would have worked. You know, like, and I say
I
that
don't think it
word.
worked when it came out either.
But I think people were more accepting of it though, because at that point, like I say, it was only the hardcore left, and like.
well,
you've got
the problem is the Day of the Doctor fundamentally works really well because, as Elise says, it is a story in and of its own right. It's not just a nostalgia fest, and also it is one of the only times, like, well, I expect one of the only times. Twice Upon a Time does it lovely. Like the Reality War, I enjoy the scene, but like, why do the old Doctors show up sometimes? It's sort of like they're here because we want them to be here. Day of the Doctor is so brilliantly woven together, and even just the little bits of foreshadowing, like the using the sonics, and I started it on my sonic, so and then later it comes back with I've been doing these calculations for a very long time.
Also the metaphor of like same
great.
software, different case.
I literally just got goosebumps with you even saying that line. Oh,
It is just, and sure, but like the only thing I would maybe have changed, quite frankly, is don't use stock footage. Get some of the Doctors back. You could have had Peter Davison, but like, because they had the set at the Experience, like you could have had him on the TARDIS going like, we'll soon be there. And
as well, you had Paul on the set as well.
Yeah,
I know that maybe they couldn't have gotten his TARDIS, but who bloody cares? Find a way of doing it. Like,
also, there's deleted scenes of Eccleston. Like, I don't. Maybe contractually they can't, but like, it would have been sick to have, because obviously we know they shot a different ending where he didn't regenerate. So there is footage of him at the console we've never seen. Have some of that, like, make it feel completely new. But
I think
what they did is so cool anyway.
Because earlier on you were talking about how irrelevant the Zygons are, because I would argue all of Classic Who is irrelevant. But what is really cool about the way the 50th treats Classic Who is that the main story about the Zygons is kind of irrelevant. It's just a vehicle through which they can explore the Time Lord story. It's like, we're acknowledging Classic Who. It's here. Enjoy it. Have a look at it. Have a gander. But we're telling the story from now. And that's what I think is so good about the 50th.
It's not really backward looking in a bad way, I think.
no, it blends old and new together
using
so
backwards
seamlessly.
No, I agree.
Because you've got, in an episode where you've got the caretaker there. What does he play? No, what is he?
He is the
curator.
The curator, yeah.
Having the curator there. And also, no, sir, or 13. Like, having those in the same episode. We've got this absolute icon of Doctor Who history, and we've got the next Doctor being teased before his opening episode. The fact that they can put those, that is a metaphor for the whole episode. And how beautifully it blends together the history, but look at the future we have. I love it.
It was so hard. Do you remember that like chat show where they announced Peter Capaldi?
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, where's it gone? Oh,
I remember I have a distinct childhood memory of watching that with my family, and like, so it was my mum, my dad, my brother, and like my brothers and me in a room watching that. And I remember my dad distinctly going, "I've made a whole bloody programme to say who the next Doctor is." And I remember not understanding his sarcasm, being like, "I know, he's great." Like that, I think there you could tell. Like,
but also, like when that happened, did anyone else was watching it like so hyped all the way through the whole thing, and they announced Peter Capaldi, he walks on, and maybe it was just me, but I feel like a whole generation went, "Who?"
Well, no, this is the thing. This was the earliest signs of me of my future career path. But I remember we were on holiday in a lovely little place called Lytham St Anne's. Let us know in the comments if you're from there. And every morning, my granddad would go and buy a paper. I won't say which paper. People won't be happy. But he'd go and buy paper, and I'd go with him. And they were updating the odds of who the next Doctor was going to be each day, and it was so exciting because Peter Capaldi was slowly climbing up those ranks alongside, which is so funny in retrospect, Billy Piper. They were like, Billy Piper's going to be the next Doctor, and I remember being like, "That's never going to happen, is it?"
Like, that's never going to happen.
You know who else kept getting thrown around? And little, like, however, I'd have probably been like 10. Would we have been 10? Yeah, 10 in 2013, I think.
Yeah.
10-year-old me was, I remember, so my fingers were crossed. I was going, please not Miranda, anyone but Miranda, anyone. And it wasn't Miranda. That's all I cared about. It wasn't Miranda. It was great. And Capaldi's so good. He's just, what a guy.
Wasn't there a moment in that show where, because they get Rufus Hound on to talk about it, don't they? And like, I think my dad must have been somewhat aware of like the new speculation going on, because at one point in that show, Rufus Hound calls Christopher Eccleston Peter Eccleston before very quickly correcting himself. So I don't know whether he knew that Peter Capaldi was backstage and slipped, or whether it was just he didn't know. He got confused in his mind, but either way, it's very funny to imagine him knowing it with Peter Capaldi backstage, saying Peter Eccleston and going, "Fuck."
It's just sad when you look at that compared to like, because I remember they're like key, like core memories of when Doctors have been announced. I remember like the Whittaker reveal. That was hype.
That was good. That was a good reveal. That
was sick. The hood down, all of that.
Other
I remember
than the PNG,
my reaction,
the PNG, that was the PNG of the TARDIS.
Is on this channel. You can go back and see young me. It's cringe. I go, yeah, no.
She looks like the Doctor.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh god!
Yeah, but the Shooty reveal, like, where was the pomp and circumstance? They just dropped it. Like, I actually have my reaction because we did an immediate live stream because we were in uni in the editing suites. I've just got like 4 people with me. I was like, Natasha, come with me. Harrison, come with me. And we were just sat there doing a live stream because he just dropped it on Instagram, literally out of nowhere. Yeah. Just Shooty posted 2 hearts plus a blue box. And everyone was like,
Wasn't it at the time that, like, because I think the logic at the time was Russell didn't want to step on like the Jodie and Chris
stuff.
Yeah, but like, it's a new Doctor. I want some aura, please.
Yeah, I get you. I agree.
I get it.
To be fair,
I do get it.
That is so sly though, because he knows that everyone's going to be so hyped about that. Oh well, you know, I won't bother to make it such a big deal.
I think he was.
They're all running to me anyway.
He did it, which I respect and makes a lot of sense, because the week after it had started to leak that Tennant and Tate were coming back.
Yeah.
So the week before they announced Tennant and Tate, they went, Shooty Gatwa as the next Doctor, so it didn't just look like, and Tennant's coming back, which I think that makes a lot of sense. But
I think that was smart.
Do some cool aura, but also it was kind of cool it just dropping out the blue. Like, that was so like, oh my god, wow.
I think there's some level of like, there needs to be like like a balance somewhere. Like I think there's a middle ground there where it's like it needs to be somewhat an event, but I think for the social media age, doing like a half an hour chat show probably doesn't work either. Like there's probably like a middle ground
live
somewhere.
stream.
I do find Smith's. Yeah, live stream would be good.
Live stream.
I do find
Tea or
Smith's
coffee as host. That'd be cool.
Yeah,
Tea or
I do
coffee
find
on the pod. When?
Yeah, let's get the campaign going.
I do find Smith's reveal is very funny because they just cut to him in Doctor Who Confidential randomly, and they're like, "Oh yeah, it's him." But
we were all too young
I guess
to actually witness that properly, which is cool. So.
Yeah, I think the thing is, thinking about it, the only time it really got that epicness was probably, I guess, 13 as well to a certain extent. But the half an hour chat show thing, like that was at a very specific point in history where Doctor Who was experiencing probably its second wave of mass popularity among like the public. Like the 50th was just this like gigantic thing that everyone
you
was
had the missing
about.
Episodes return that year as well.
You did.
2013 was
it was a great
the year that made
for
me a
Doctor
Who fan.
And it was a great year for Doctor Who, and I remember like even people who didn't like Doctor Who at that time were talking about it. Everyone knew it was Doctor Who's 50th anniversary. I think Stephen Moffat is quoted as saying, "Oh, the BBC said that I promised them this year's Olympics," and I truly think he did deliver on that. Like. To make Doctor Who feel like this kind of global phenomenon, which obviously it is to a certain extent, but like it's one of the few times in my life it's felt like not quite a Star Wars level thing, but you know what I mean? Like it has that level of...
In Britain, it did feel like a Star Wars level thing. Maybe not worldwide, but it was huge.
Like that level of prestige.
Everyone was talking about it. Like it was just... It was fantastic.
All the
family sat down and watched it. Joe came round to mine to watch it. It was we were giggling all the way through.
I would do anything to just have Doctor Who be like Doctor Who should be Stranger Things. Like
It should
I'm
be
sorry,
our thing, shouldn't it? As this,
but this is the thing. Stranger Things. It's like it's good. But imagine Doctor Who with that budget, with that prestige, with that love. Doctor Who is the best show ever made, and it deserves every bit of happiness ever. And I just,
While we're talking as well about, I was going to share a story at the start and I completely forgot to, but while we're talking about the hype around Doctor Who and people, because I know Faris, you talked a while ago about a kid that didn't know what a TARDIS was or something.
Or TARDIS, Dalek, or Doctor Who in general.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
Because I was thinking about how, actually, when I was in primary school, when you're doing like the charts and things, like you're learning how to do maths and they're like, oh, this is, there was some kind of chart, pie chart, something where we all had to vote on what program we watched on a Saturday night. And I was one of two of my entire class that put Doctor Who and everyone else made fun of us. But so I'd always been like, I never really had that growing up until I got to secondary school when I sat next to Charlie Joe on the bus and we forced everyone else to become Doctor Who fans. But I was I work with kids for part of my job, and I was just chatting to 4 15, 16-year-olds the other day, and I mentioned Doctor Who. They turn around and they go, do you like Doctor Who? And it was the loveliest moment. And then they all looked at each other and they were like, wait, I didn't know you liked Doctor Who. Just 4 random kids that had picked out to help me with something, and they were all Doctor Who fans. And then suddenly they were all like, who's your favourite Doctor to each other? And I was like, it just made me so proud that like these 15-year-olds are like, it's carrying on. It's going to be...
Well, this is the thing. It's now seen. I think it's partly the culture we're living in, but also the stage Doctor Who's got to. Mm-hmm. Like... my sister is around that age as well, and like her friends, there's a couple of them who watch Doctor Who, but most people in like her school, they just don't they don't really know what it is, but they watch David Tennant. And this is the thing, as much as people go like, why is he on all the marketing? Why is he on the thumbnail?
These were Matt
He
Smith
is the
fans.
Doctor.
These were Matt Smith fans.
Smith also would work,
though,
to be fair. Smith also would
I
work.
think it's people really watch, and Eccleston is probably my second favourite Doctor, but people that I've found, younger people, seem to watch all the Tennant and Smith stuff, and that's it. They're not really bothered with Eccleston or Capaldi or really the present stuff. It's that era has become this sort of like, oh my god, this is so cool, like a nostalgia, the noughties.
That's what it is. So, like, my sister was talking about this the other day. My sister's 17, and she was talking about how she started watching Doctor Who again because she was like, it is so of its time and it's dated. She was like, but in a really chic way. And she was watching it for the 2000s vibes, and she was, it is the stuff like with the presentation of how they did it. It is so slice of life in a sci-fi show. It's Rose with like her 7 layers of mascara and her messy bedroom and her CD player on the side. It's Christopher Eccleston in a leather jacket wandering around London town.
And the amount of location stuff, it's so period piece. All of it is so 2000s. And I feel like Doctor Who slightly loses that identity as it goes on. Like, it doesn't become a product of its time. The Smith era doesn't feel like the 2010s.
I don't know, because like I think the early stuff feels very kind of like that kind of dark fairy tale kind of vibe of like Tim Burton movies around that time were all kind of.
But that's not like, because Elise describing it as like a slice of life.
No, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's
like,
not. We needed like the stupid little bowler hat things and the oversized. I want a companion with a moustache tattooed on their finger for that. Why doesn't it start like? It's the music and the stuff that works its way in.
It's a little bit like Ryan was all like, the Chibnall era has all the pieces. It's all the notes, but not in the right order. But Ryan being a YouTuber is so like 2019, 2018, like that. Why have we not had? Why am I not a companion, guys? Why haven't we had a YouTuber as a companion? Like, just a contemporary thing. Like, Yaz is 19 and in the police.
Like it would be so cringy.
Not if written well.
But you can do it well, though, because
I feel like writing a YouTuber, because it's like specifically performative, it would be so difficult not to make it cringy. Also,
it doesn't need to be a YouTuber.
I'd also argue like the 2000s was, and maybe I'm chatting a bunch of bollocks and you're all about to disagree with me, but I think it was like that was sort of the end of a specific modern identity, because after that, the modern cultural zeitgeist became nostalgia. If you think 2010s, that's when like you'd see Star Wars t-shirts, and it's like, that's not 2010s, that's 80s. Especially now, like it's maybe, I don't know, the CD player and the sort of gadgets and the physical stuff that people would have and populate their room with just don't really exist in the same way.
But this is a cyclical thing, though, with culture, is it comes back, like fashion trends re-emerge every 20 years. People will go these days, you're just dressing like in the 2000s, but it is a very specific 2020s fashion that is inspired by the 2000s, just as the 2000s were inspired by 80s fashion in its own way. When they were making new Doctor Who, they weren't sat there going, we're going to make this so 2000s. And this is one thing that I do, obviously, we're all a bit sick of companions from the modern day time, but there is something in that really grounds it in this, because it's a time capsule in its own way. And I love that time machine is going back and watching something like Aliens of London World War III. It's like we're in the TARDIS going back and visiting that world that it was then. I
do think Artie has a point in that when you think the RTD1 era was the last era that came out before like the internet properly became a big thing. And I do think that once the internet became a big thing, because everyone's in their own little circles, it's kind of led to this kind of homogenization of culture more broadly, because everyone is consuming all these different things, and there aren't as many of those cultural touchstones that everyone is.
Even
is
beyond
on.
the
This is, I
cultural,
think,
it's like you would populate a room with something for your music, something for your like TV, something for this, and there's less tactility.
well, the big
But we
thing
just-
here, the headline of all this, and I do think it's true, mobile phones. Because not only within the narrative itself does it, we're communicating through Zoom right now. This wasn't a thing back then. You can't have TV dramas where the companion is on Instagram 24/7, addicted to AI slop videos.
No, but there are things that we can reference.
I think phones not only, as Tharies says, made because when the Russell era was happening, if you wanted the internet, you had to sit in a corner on a desktop and whereas after that, everything's on a phone. People will watch individual things. The stories itself, like I was saying, I'll make them a YouTuber or something. But it is quite different because a lot of communication now just happens on the phone. And you don't want to see that in a drama. You don't want to watch someone sat texting. You've got to, and it's why I think Ruby and Belinda, they don't feel like properly real people. There's just something like I don't know, but I don't know what the answer is, because are you able to make them interact through phones in an interesting way or something? Like it
doesn't have to be phones though. Like, I mean, Artie, you said about how the 2000s was the last kind of cultural identity. Like, there are 12-year-olds on TikTok right now romanticizing 2016 and the filters that were there. Like, there are ways to do it that it doesn't have to be people on a phone all the time. There can be it's
because
the
of
style
phones.
of the clothing. It's the
But
style.
no, phones are the problem. Because of phones, culture moves so fast now. So those 2016 filters, I remember a perfect example of this, Series 10. When they shot it, dabbing was cool. So they got Missy to dab. And when the trailer for Series 10 dropped, don't do that. When the trailer for Series 10 dropped, everyone in the comments, I remember I was watching it, Miss Owen's art class, I was on my phone in the back of the room like a rebel. I watched the trailer and everyone was like, oh my God, are they really making Missy dab? That's so
No, but
cringe.
it's so
That's so
funny
cringe.
now because
No,
at the time,
but the problem is
realise that
culture
you're
moves so
living through these
quickly.
moments.
No, but culture moves so quickly that by the time you put it in a drama that now takes like a year and a bit to make, it's outdated. So I can see from the show's perspective.
We didn't have Rose doing specific dance moves from that time, but it is everything around it.
No,
like,
because culture didn't move as quickly. Whereas I think now it's on like a treadmill. It's
Yeah, there was
rapid.
no 6-7 equivalent in the 2000s.
When we
You know
are
what
in
I
our
mean?
40s and our 50s, we will look back on the 2020s and there will be a specific era to it. Because culture has always moved fast. And I know, I agree with you, it is
Yeah, that
reasonably
era will
rapid.
be.
and
Do you remember
strong.
that moment just before the war when everyone knew everything was going wrong?
After the virus, but before the war. Remember that?
Remember, there was that like middle bit where we all knew the world was coming to an end.
Yeah. I think the other thing as well, just even with the idea of making him or making any companion a YouTuber, is YouTuber means different things to like everyone
I'm not
anyway.
arguing for the
No,
companion.
I'm not saying you are. I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying
Elise, why have you taken this as like an attack?
I'm not being.
I am.
The point I'm making.
You're willfully misunderstanding me to prove
No,
that.
I get.
We're not-
I
He
get
throws
your-
down a bag.
No,
I'm being
like-
mansplained to you right now.
No, I'm just the point I was just making is that like obviously the difficulty with trying to modernize something is that how do you modernize something when said thing is different to like different people? Like let's say you make a companion a YouTuber. What does just for an example, because that was Joe's example, not yours, and I'm not saying it was your example, right? How do you do that? Because it's like what me and Joe do on YouTube is very different to what most people think YouTube is.
The problem is,
You know what I'm saying?
you need someone who. And the problem, culture is moving so quickly. But you need
Agreed.
someone who is effectively our age, because one of the biggest letdowns of things like the Star Beast, solid episode for the most part, and when Russell is writing characters his age, it's peak. That conversation with Sylvia and Donna in the kitchen is like, oh my God, like that's
Perfect
lovely,
example.
real, but then you get him writing Rose Noble.
Well, you don't.
Actually,
I'm not
the
arguing for
meeps
Russell to be the
pronouns,
showrunner.
people don't speak like that.
I'm arguing for
And
Elise
even-
Collins as showrunner.
But the littlest thing in the Star Beast which bugs me, Rose has a line. She's outside by the bins and she says to Fudge, she goes, "Oh, there's a crashed spaceship. I've left my phone in the kitchen. I'll have to go and get it." You've left your phone in the kitchen and you're 15? No 15-year-old is without their phone for more than 2 minutes. They've got it glued to them. And it's just little things like that feel like no one speaks like that.
But this is the... Oh, I'm sorry, Artie, I'm going to cut you off really quickly because this idea, though, that culture hasn't moved in the past and that culture has always been the same for everyone is just because we're living in the present day and we're not aware of it happening around. We don't need a companion that's a YouTuber, but we can put the cultural identity of today in, okay, well, we usually have these 20-year-old companions. We'll make part of that companion story being the fact that they've graduated from uni and that there's no jobs anywhere, and that's why they're not going away for, I know that's a very basic take of it, but rather than having someone like the millennials, like the Rose Tylers thought, oh, I can do anything, and that's the kind of vibe that propels her forward because she had that bite to her that all of these 2000s teenagers did. That's not what 2000s teenagers and 20-year-olds are like today. Make them someone real.
You're confusing our discussion of a YouTuber for a campaign for it.
No, I know, but I think you're strawmanning my argument by using the word YouTuber.
We're not. We're just discussing the possibility. It's got nothing to do with what you've said.
We weren't using it as a point of discrediting.
I do think that and it's just occurred to me. So maybe but like we're talking about culture in the way of like zeitgeist, quite specifically. But something that the first RTD era, specifically series 1, but that it does is that the characters often look a mess. Rose especially. She does not look like she's perfectly done up. Her mascara is terrible. It's like, and they look like lived in.
all right. One.
This is an issue I have.
Yeah. She's a real
so much modern media is that characters look perfect 24/7. Shooty, I would rail him in every scene of his series. He is never a mess.
But you can see this. Sorry.
They never have bedheads. They never just look a bit rough. They don't look lived in.
I think that's a good point, actually.
You can see
technology as well.
Even from Rose to Clara. Rose has like a costume designer that is making something for Rose Tyler. Clara has someone that likes fashion doing her wardrobe. Yeah, all of her outfits are quite Clara, but she is dressed so like... It's like someone's gone, what's a cute outfit that we want our companion to wear, not what is Rose Tyler wearing in this situation.
It's even it's not just Doctor Who, because Artie's right, it's within the new Spider-Man trailer. Like, it's the tiniest thing ever, but it did bug me. Why has he got the most expensive Samsung like phone imaginable?
Because capitalism ruins everything.
Other than that though, Peter Parker, like Rose Tyler, everything about her screams her character. Peter Parker has no money. He is like broke and it's tearing him apart. When did Peter Parker go and get a really expensive phone? Like Ruby Sunday.
Maybe he got it on credit.
Belinda, etc. Sorry, are you sponsored?
Yeah.
Belinda, I did like, and it was reshoots. Russell's admitted it was reshoots because they went, how does this make any sense? But the fact that she was in a house sharing food in the fridge, don't touch my food in the fridge, blah, blah, blah. That was really nice, and I want to see more of that. Belinda,
we literally
go
had
into
1
space.
minute and 32 seconds for that introduction, which Artie said was too long, if I may flash back to that episode.
A year ago, happy anniversary.
Literally a year ago.
Happy anniversary.
But in conclusion, the world's doomed. Everything's miserable, and should we just go back to the 2000s?
Day of the Doctor?
We're talking about Day of the Doctor, but I want to defend myself. I meant, when I say the intro, I'm not necessarily talking about her being a nurse. I'm talking about...
How are we bringing this back? This was a year ago.
I'm talking about that terrible scene on the hill, which is just annoying and long and not very good. But Day of the Doctor...
This is something a male presenting Time Lord would never understand, Artie. Sometimes you just have to let it go.
I think Day of the Doctor is an 8 out of 10. We'll get on to it.
Day of the Doctor's an 8 out of 10.
Well,
I don't know, because I gave...
That's mean.
if you're
Very
saying
harsh, Simon.
the
Very,
block,
very harsh.
if you're saying the block, then I'll give it a 9 because Night Out Doctor is a 15 and all of the others are 8s. And
To be fair, I gave 3 Doctors a 9, and I do narrowly think 3 Doctors is slightly stronger. So I think 8.5 would probably.
I can't lie. I think I love the 3 Doctors to my core, but I honestly don't think there's ever been a better anniversary than the of the Doctor block. That is.
Oh, if you're counting
television.
the block collectively,
Day of the Doctor. I honestly think it didn't really do anything wrong. The only thing, and it's not the fault of the production, but John Hurt should have been Eccleston. Like that just should have. And I know it didn't happen. If that happened, I think it would be one of, if not the most perfect episode of Doctor Who ever. But John Hurt's all right for what he does.
One thing I do find
an episode of Doctor Who, I'm giving Day of Doctor an 8. But as
I'm giving it a 10. I think I might give it a 10.
One thing that I do find interesting is a lot of people don't like the way the Time War was handled. I have seen a lot of people say they don't like the way that it makes it so that obviously he thinks he did the sacrifice, but obviously he didn't in the end. And I know that like for some people they see that as a bit like, I get obviously at the time I think it works, but I think people do see it as part of that extension of that trope Moffat would do of everyone's fine. Everyone's great. I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that's my opinion, but I'm saying that's something I've seen.
At the end of the day,
expressed.
I think it's done so well. And it's why Hellbent frustrates me a little bit, because the Doctor shouldn't have found Gallifrey in Moffat's tenure.
Just a little bit?
I think it should have been left for a future.
Well, it's really funny that he goes, well, what this episode's about is setting up the next 50 years of Doctor Who. And then 2 years later, he's like, so anyway, back here now.
I love that all that happens. Then you get to Jodie, she's just blown up again. Gallifrey falls no more. Apart from that time it does again, and probably
and then
gets
it gets revealed
again,
in the era after that not only did Gallifrey blow up, but they're all like infertile. So that's really cool.
So, I mean, what is going on now with is Gallifrey gone now?
Yeah.
Okay, it hasn't been brought back again. It is gone.
Not yet.
I do get it.
Not until Christmas 2026.
Do you think it's going to be brought back
End
at Christmas?
of Time Part 3. No, I don't know.
Time Part 3.
Yeah, I'm not.
Darius, you do make me laugh.
Did you know, fun fact...
You think that's a joke? I wouldn't put it past him.
End of Time was not supposed to be End of Time Part 1 and Part 2. They got so far as a final cut of the episode with the title The Final Day of Planet Earth. And they were sat watching it, like all the producers with Russell and everyone, and like the line leading into the credits is like, but this was the final day of planet Earth. That comes on, and then according to Russell, they all just started pissing themselves and went, this sounds like Flash Gordon, this is dreadful, what do we call it? I don't know. And Julie just went, End of Time Part 1, and Russell was like, sure, marvellous, part 1. So it was never supposed to be Part 1 and Part 2, which is quite funny.
In every telling of a story with Russell, we have to add in the marvellous.
We said it every single time. I love Russell T.
I like to imagine, like, he's like going for a shit in the morning, and he's like, marvellous
shit.
Shall we talk about Julie though? Because the next one is quite a powerful contender for an anniversary.
Is it
special? Hello.
So
the centenary special, which
I haven't heard it be called that in years. I remember all the leaks about the centenary special.
Bring back Matt Smith or Eccleston or Capaldi, because Chibnall was kindly letting Russell do that in the 60th.
To be fair,
was that the plan?
To be fair, Moffat kindly made Twice Upon a Time so they could keep the Christmas slot, and we all know what happened to that.
Passing on the favour, but Chibnall said in Doctor Who magazine, he was like, I included the classic Doctors because this is a sort of celebration of classic Who, but I presume the 60th will be a big bombastic celebration of new Who. We only got David Tennant. Now, if you listen, did you hear Eccleston's comment the other day about he'd come back to Doctor Who? Obviously, he said before without Russell and that lot. He's now said I guarantee, almost certainly, he, if asked, would have come back for Power of the Doctor.
I think
How
so.
sick would that have been if it was him as one of the Guardians of the Edge? I think I would have cried.
I would have cried, yeah. I cried already. I would have
Yeah, I'd have
sobbed.
cried even
I would have
more.
had to pause the
Especially
episode.
Chris
crying
with
and
Jodie
stuff.
would have been iconic.
Yeah.
I
Chris
think
with
that would have
Jodie
been a
would be
really
good.
lovely dynamic.
Yeah.
How awesome would it be, though, if they sort of tease Tennant coming back for the rest of this year and they don't make anything at all, and then it ends up being a Piper Eccleston special?
That would be,
That
honestly,
would literally be...
them two, I think, are the best
I-
Doctor companion pairing. I might, like, every time I watch one of their episodes, I just go like, oh my God, it's perfect. Like,
Rules, I'm
Father's
trying to
Day-
resonate.
It's not going to happen, and I've hyped myself up.
Well, the problem is the current team. He will never come back while they're in power.
But he would come
In
back.
power.
He
Sorry.
said he'd come back if there was a little girl who'd watched Doctor Who when it came back, and if she became the showrunner.
Elise, you've got to do it. You've got to do it.
I'll do it. It's the only way.
Please.
One thing I will say, I do think, and this is not necessarily like a point necessarily just against the 60s, but I do think it is worth I do think they've missed out a bit on the 2010s early Smith nostalgia. I do think, because I do see a lot of people kind of go, "Oh, that was my childhood. Oh, I was love." And the thing is, they haven't really done anything for those people. Don't get me wrong.
Can they stop going on about fish fingers and custard? Can they stop throwing that in every now?
To be fair, the last
I
time
like fish fingers and custard.
I'll tell you for why, though, Tharies. I'll tell you for why.
Tell me for why.
Because Big Moth, or I suppose Lil Moth,
Little Moth.
Lil Moth has said many times, which I do find really funny. The two quotes, it cracks me because he says it in every interview now. He goes, one, Doctor Who, I would never return as showrunner. You should never do that. It should be given to the next generation. It should be for young people. It's like, aren't you friends with Russell? And then he keeps repeatedly in new interviews going, the audience don't want to hear my political opinions. I'm a writer. What do I know? They don't want to hear that. That's the worst thing you could do as a writer, is sit there and put your politics into your show, blah, 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 blah. You've got to let it happen naturally. And he is determined he would not come back and write a Smith special because I think
he would
who else is going to do it? Because
Russell could write Smith.
No, but you can't. That's not his Doctor.
Arthur Darvill and Karen Gillan and Matt Smith have all said, when asked, never say never. They've all said the same thing, I think they'd come back. They'd all come back if it was. They could all come back together.
They'd do it, but I think if you did it, it would either A, need Moffat writing it, or B, it would have to have Tennant and all these other Doctors. You can't. It would be so random for Russell to just go.
It was random to have David Tennant and Catherine Tate come back.
It was random to have Billy Piper show up at the end of Reality War.
The whole show's random. There's no set anymore.
No, but from a writing perspective,
shoved random plot lines to me, and I'm okay, guess I'll just accept that.
But they're Moffat's creation. You kind of, if you include them in a multi-Doctor sense, makes sense, but you can't just have Moffat, his story completely continued by Russell. Each showrunner has their sort of.
I don't know whether I necessarily agree.
I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong. I'm just saying they wouldn't do that as writers. That's just not how it works.
I think that's a silly reason, though. I think.
Well, email that to Lil
I
Moff.
will. I will, because my logic is, to be fair, Moffat, the Time War wasn't your story to carry on. You still resolved it.
Well, yes, it was.
No, but if you want to get technical, the Time.
I don't want to get technical. Shall we move on?
The Time War was Russell's. The Time War was Russell's creation, but Moffat still did a wrap up of it in Day of the Doctor. The notion that he didn't make it, so
he didn't do a wrap up. He did a continuation, and that's completely different. But Arctic,
not really.
Well, it is. We'll shine a light on you because me and you quite happily watched Power of the Doctor not that long ago.
Yeah.
What did you think?
It's terrible, but it is also amazing. You see things in Power of the Doctor that are just that no one should be spending money on that you see in things because they are just for people like us. It is just for losers on the internet. That is who it's for. And they spent so much money on it. And it is so much fun. Nothing makes sense. But it's, oh my God. It's
what
so
I
much of a
did
good
notice as
time.
well, it's so fun to watch as a group.
Yeah.
I never really watch it on my own, and when I watched it for the first time, it was in uni second year in the big living room. We had about 12 people crammed in there, and as a group watch, I genuinely think it's a near 10 out of 10. There's so many funny moments as well. We're just no, but even just the little bits that I'd completely forgot about. Like Graham shows up out of nowhere in a volcano. Ace goes like, "Hi, I'm Ace." He looks her up and down and goes, "Yes, you are." What is this?
I do love that Chibnall essentially made his OC flirt with Ace.
It's great. I genuinely think
I know what you're doing. You know that meme, the Dexter meme, the guy in the I know what you're doing.
So good though. You've got to look at it like what is it designed to do? It's a fun celebration. It's not an introspective character piece. Like the Day of the Doctor takes a little bit of here's some deep character work about the Doctor as a person. This goes, do you like Daleks? That's fun, isn't it? Do you like Sylvester McCoy? That's fun, isn't it? Do you like Peter Davison? Well, that's fun, isn't it? Do you remember Adric? It's
I remember it being
about it is that it was made at a point when no one was watching this show. No one was.
My point earlier.
It was terrible, and they knew who was left, and they just spent all the BBC centenary money on us, and you just can't help but have a good time.
Yeah,
it's so good.
I think
love
that's
it.
the same thing with when we were talking about the 50th. Obviously, it's a much more story-based thing, and they didn't quite deserve to throw all of these classic Doctors in, and it wouldn't have made sense for that time without being over. It was this Power of the Doctor was the perfect time to just go, oh, you know what? Let's have a fucking party. I don't care. Let's just do it, because this is what I know completely. When we talk about the Reality War and Legend of Ruby Sunday, you always go, less so with Legend of Ruby Sunday, but with the Reality War in particular, you go, oh, I enjoy the episode. It may be rubbish, but I have a good time watching it. That's not, I want, out of a finale, I want it to feel complete and to feel those through threads. Doctor Who's the biggest show on it. Oh, I don't care. Let's just have fun. I'm down. Let's do it.
But that's my logic, though. That's my logic with 2026 Christmas special. That's what I was trying to convey to you, though.
But we've had so much of that. This is where I get what you're saying, but I just think after we've had Power of the Doctor, and then we went into the 60th specials, which again was just nostalgia bait. Then we had the last which is mostly nostalgia bait. And now I'm come on, can we actually have some?
We'll come to the 60th in a minute, though.
I think the 60th has a lot more going on than people give credit for.
I fundamentally disagree that the 60th is nostalgia bait at all. If anything, I was left underwhelmed. I've said before, the Wild Blue Yonder, I can appreciate, is a very, very well written piece of television. But I think I felt underwhelmed watching it. That's not a 60th special. You bring back Tennant and Tate. I feel it's nice to but you either give them a 6-episode series or one big bombastic overarching special. It should have been
part 1, part 2, part 3, and I love Wild Blue Yonder. It's my favourite out of the 3 for definite, but I think it shouldn't exist.
That's the problem though, because it's banging.
Yeah,
it's very good. But it's it just feels weird because
I disagree.
We're all
I think
nostalgia, but they're just sort of doing a mini series. They're this is the Doctor and Companion now. Let's have a random one-off
straight out of Power of the
episode.
Doctor as well. It's just I'm a bit specialed out actually. I do think that was what Blue Yonder was good for. Was going actually here is some. Well,
that was my thing. My thing with Wild Blue Yonder is if you're gonna get these characters back, let's actually explore why you like them in the first place. Let's actually go in depth on why these characters work. And to be fair, that story does it wonderfully, because we were talking a bit about the 5 Doctors earlier on. That is, as I said, basically the theme park versions of those characters. Yeah. You don't really get to learn much about.
It's Power of the Doctor, but classic edition.
But you don't really get
on the one hand.
Oh,
on
yeah.
one hand, you either like the fan stuff is the characters. So you have the 60th where you don't do enough plot fan stuff, but you focus on the On the other hand, you got Power of the Doctor, where the characters are wafer thin and the plot is bonkers. Oh,
Well, this is the thing, though. It's such a weird, like. Should we just discuss the 60th?
Yeah.
I feel like we've given all we can for the centenary.
Power is a mess. Just to wrap up on Power, it's a mess. I do have fun with it.
It's a beautiful mess.
It is a beautiful. I think Review of Death described it as a child being sick onto the camera after eating too much sugar, and then there's like bits of sweetness and joy in amongst the slop, and it's like that is no, but I think that's a good analogy.
That's too harsh. I think
the slop is the sweetness.
I genuinely love.
It's like
Power
the
of the
feeling
Doctor.
that you get when you feel a bit sick after you've had such good food and you really enjoyed it, but it's like, oh, okay.
But it's like junk food, though. It's like junk food, though. It tastes amazing in the moment, but the morning after you feel like shit, and you've got the shits for days.
Sometimes
afterwards.
you don't want to watch like Citizen Kane
I get
or
that.
The Godfather. Sometimes you want to watch a silly, camp, fun action thing, and I think it should be law. I think it should be law that you cannot watch Power of the Doctor on your own. You have to be in a room full of other Doctor Who fans, because otherwise it loses the impact. But as an event, as an episode that you can sit down with Doctor Who fans and go, Tegan just fell through an air vent, and then we just cut away, and she's fine. It's like...
There are moments where my favourite one is in Doctor Who magazine where they were like, the Master and a Shad have a really interesting dynamic because they're like enemies who like hate each other from the last episode, and then they just never interact.
The Master just goes like, I'm so glad I cloned you, and that's it. It's just, he's here because he's here.
I do
Why
think
not?
actually it's closer to a modern Dimensions in Time than anything, and I don't mean that necessarily.
No.
You know, that sounds harsh, but I'm sorry. Him going, "I'm so glad I've cloned you," is basically the equivalent of when the Raleigh's like, "Look at my menagerie of clones." It's the same thing.
But it's so fun. And
It's
Ace
Dimensions
hits a
in Time
Dalek
with
with a
money,
bat,
but-
and also it leaves you feeling, because Jodie's regeneration is one of the best scenes in the show's history.
It's actually very good. I like her regeneration.
It's
Well, I wouldn't go
so
that far,
good. Like, it leaves you with
There's your
happy
Citizen
taste in your mouth.
Kane. If you want Citizen Kane, watch that. It's
Yes.
perfect.
It's
You
so
watch 2 hours
so good.
of slop that is so delicious. And then you get the end, and it's like the most beautifully made caviar. And they're force feeding it to you. Eat it up, eat it, and you're enjoying it. And it's like,
This analogy has become so incredibly
Anyway.
strained.
The 60th. We will start off with the Star Beast. This is an episode that I genuinely struggle with in a sense, because I love, and I mean love, like really madly in love with parts of. And then there are parts that make me go, oh. And there is one particular part which I think I do not even need you to guess that
It's
makes me
Once Upon a-
want to punch.
Once
the
upon a
screen.
time. Once upon a time, Lord.
Why? Why is the first shot Tennant on a bad green screen narrate its
Well, I will
dreadful-
tell
There's a better way
That
to
wasn't
fill
a-
other people in than that.
What they should have done realistically. This is how you fix that entire issue. You know when you're watching on
Delete
Amazon
it. Get it away from
Prime-
me.
Do you know how when you're on Amazon Prime or whatever, or you're on like one of the streaming services and you're watching a series can I finish, you prima donna, or are you going to keep flapping your hand at me?
You're wrong. The way you do it is you write the episode in an intelligent way that informs your audience of the past events, which they do. Tennant spends the whole time going, why do I have this face? Oh, I know that bitch. I remember her. That's what he spends his time doing. And the reason Russell wrote that is so you don't have to have a fucking slideshow.
My thing is, I've been watching... I've been watching The Boys recently, the new series of The Boys, the final series, and I also
seen episode 1. Don't spoil episode 2.
That we about.
And I caught up on Gen V as well. And what's good about that is like you get the little previously on bit that just does, and it's not like you don't have bloody Homelander on a green screen going.
Can you imagine
Butcher with his
you're doing a Doctor Who rewatch.
Well, last week, this is what happens.
It's so bad. Oh, it's so bad.
But if you're doing a Doctor Who rewatch and you're clicking through, you've just finished Power of the Doctor, and you go on and it goes previously on Doctor Who, and it's just like, don't make me forget, don't make me forget, don't make me forget.
But you say that.
That was ago.
You say that. Twice Upon a Time did literally this. Twice Upon a Time did literally that.
Absolutely gorgeously, beautifully done, and it was perfect because of the moment that it was. And
why couldn't you have it be gorgeously, beautifully done?
More importantly, I don't want to be that guy, but this is why, quite geniusly, they separated them on iPlayer. So you don't get that tonal whiplash. So why is the first shot? And you wonder why Disney Plus didn't pick it up. The first thing any American who's never watched Doctor Who is going to see is Tennant on a green screen telling you the plot. Genuinely the most baffling decision in Doctor Who history.
I like how Rachel Talalay had to come out and be like, that wasn't mine.
Rachel had to repeatedly go on Twitter. Don't you put my name on that? Don't you dare! And also #release the Talalay cut, because I'm not being funny. Her edit of the start of the Star Beast is so much better.
I haven't seen it.
You can see it on her YouTube channel, because the problem with the pacing of it. I love the Snapchat emojis she puts up, but the pacing's so quick. Like, in a way it's nice because it's like, okay, we're straight into the story, but in another way it's like, bloody hell, slow down. But at the same time, you've got the dialogue. It's like, oh my God, Russell's back. Like, where she's been fined, where she was fine, and like Grand Mistress of the Knowledge, can't catch up. Like, all of that is so fun. It's so well written. And
I distinctly remember when I watched it for the first time thinking, oh my God, they talk like characters again.
But it is. It's like, it's back.
Because that's the thing, like, going from, obviously, the Chimney and Power of the Doctor, where they will say things like, I'm so glad I cloned you, and variations of things like that, to, moments like where... or like the moment you mentioned, where it's like, oh, I just get things a bit muddled, and I don't want to get it wrong, and I want it to be right. That's character.
It's so good.
Character.
So that's one of the most hype moments in Doctor Who ever. It's like the Doctor Who equivalent of Captain America catches hammer. Was when the Doctor knocks on the door and Sylvia turns around. I mean, like, everyone just went.
And that scene. It's that whole thing, like, it's so funny and so full of life and so good. And they're like, there's a bloody Martian in the shed. It's not there. It's not real. Like, all of that. And then just Sean with the, like, something smells nice. Sean's great as well.
What a great pull. It's nostalgic, but also it's, like, obscure enough to where it feels fresh to the audience as well. And obviously it ties in with, obviously, like, the whole thing of, like, the meat being like it's not having like a gender and all of that, which is like, the lines are a bit clunky, but like I can get what they're going for.
But this is the problem. It's so weird of an episode to review because I am utterly in love with so much of it. But then there's just bits that are like, what on earth is going on? Like,
binary,
as I said,
non-binary.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
Like,
it wasn't even non-binary. Like,
still to this day, everyone like, huh? And like something a male presenting Time Lord would never understand.
It's just
All that does is give cannon fodder to right-wing reactionaries, and it makes people who are left-wing look silly.
But also, it doesn't even make sense in the context of the show because he was a woman 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yes, but he's now male presenting, so he's got no brain. Also, side note, sociology moment, I absolutely hate the infantilization of men in today's culture, and I think it really leans into that with things like, you just don't get it because you're a man. It's like, okay, no, I think he can get it. I think he's an adult and he can make his own decisions, and we don't need to kind of brush everything under the rug because he's such a silly little man.
Yeah, it's just weird.
He's following on from her only men should be the
No, but it is. It's so weird, and it feels
weird.
like it almost feels. And I want to word this correctly but it almost feels aggressive in its sort of. Russell always felt optimistic in his writing, and it was like, this is a nice sort of left-wing view of the world, whatever, come and enjoy Doctor Who. Whereas it almost feels like, if you don't exactly agree with this, you are wrong and we don't want you.
He's trying to prove himself, though, isn't he? He's always been one that's been like, Doctor Who should be supported by new young creatives because I was one of those new young creatives. And he's trying to prove, I am still new and modern and up to date on these things. So he says all the things that he thinks are going to be the right thing. It just reminds me of that thing where it's like, anyone less woke than me is uninformed. Anyone more woke than me is annoying. I'm the perfect level of woke, and I feel so picky with it. But like, come on, Russell, you've got to. It is
fascinating because I had an exact moment like this when I was, when I was doing the Wish World thing. There's a line in that scene that I'm in.
Were you in Doctor Who? You've never mentioned it.
No, but. It is relevant to what we're talking about, which is why I brought it up. But
we'll allow.
There's a line in that where Shirley says something like, she says to Ruby, "You're different from us. You look very non-disabled to me," which on multiple levels doesn't really make any sense because obviously in the episode it's established that non-visible disabilities exist, but also never in my life have I ever heard someone who's disabled refer to it as a non-disabled. Go, "You look very what does that mean? What does that mean? What are they supposed to look like, an alien? Like what's the what's the point you're trying to convey?
Isn't it just Shirley saying though, like, you shouldn't you're not one of us effectively.
Yeah, but it's but she does say you look very non-disabled to me, and also like she doesn't know Ruby at that point, does she? Because it's a different world.
You could say it as in you look like you should be fine in that world. Like she could, if she wanted the cutting moment of we're the outcast here,
that would make sense.
It could have been like, oh, hang on, well, this world was built for you, so why don't you go and enjoy it and leave us where we are?
And then Ruby could say something like, well, that's rather presumptuous or something.
Yeah, well, I think that's the thing. Some of the characters, they're all just a bit too nice to each other nowadays. Like
happy gang.
Rose and Eccleston.
It's so clean.
Yeah. Polished.
The way they
polished.
The way they act.
Oh,
polished always just makes me think of gadget, and it will never be gadget. So.
Well, that's actually a good moment on the politics side of things, which I find fascinating. After, I'm not going to do it; it'll topple my books. You can see them here. After reading some of these books, but why on earth is Doctor Who?
Literature.
You can tell, guys, he's smart, he reads, he wears glasses.
I put them there to prove I'm an intelligent man. Why is, because it's an interesting idea, Doctor Who and the planet of the incels. Okay, but why are there lines like, you've taken coercive control to a whole other level? And why does Alan, which no one ever, Alan literally goes like, yes, a whole planet that I get to control and I can kill people? And not only that, but when the incel dies, the Doctor cheers, shouts "Yas Queen," does a leg kick, claps his hands, and that's it.
Because he's trying to he's trying to talk about young people conversations and be engaged in the conversations of young people, but he just doesn't know the parlance with which young people speak. Not that sentence articulates how young people speak.
He doesn't know the parlance with which the youth converse.
He doesn't have the lingo. He doesn't understand.
I don't think that's necessarily a problem. The Doctor saying "Yes, Queen," quite frankly, that's funny. And the Doctor would, I think the 15th Doctor would say that. The problem for me is, no, exactly. Why are we cheering at the death of someone? Because, quite frankly, in this politically divided time, there will be incels watching Doctor Who. What that does is make them go, this is us v them. We hate you. We're going to cheer at your death. The Doctor, who may be a character that you relate to, now hates you. Which is bizarre. Because, we should be having these conversations. And I think an episode exploring an incel in Doctor Who is maybe a really interesting thing. But it shouldn't be like... do you know what I mean? I don't know quite how to word it.
It should be something like, who do you think made your clothes, as to outline, this episode is actually not about what you think it's about, to kind of reiterate that point. Have I completely cut out? You've all frozen.
No,
you froze, but we could still hear you.
But we could still hear you,
to kind of say, this is... I'm just going to plug my phone in just in case it does. This is what the episode is about, just letting you know, but it's all a metaphor and it will actually only go over your head until you rewatch it as an adult, which is, number one, watched happen, and number two, it should have been a Margaret the Slitheen moment, kind of I wish I could have saved him, but I didn't get there in time. Almost like in Dot and Bubble, when he's like so frustrated. Beautiful moment because he's so frustrated because even though she's such a dreadful person to him, he doesn't care. He wants to save her.
Imagine if instead in Dot and Bubble, you know that scene where they're all on the gondola boat thing? If they'd have gone down a giant ravine, crashed and died, and then he did like a little kid. And then turned around. It would not have the same. And I think one of the other interesting, and one thing that kind of annoys me about that, and what annoys me about like a lot of the way that they cover this stuff recently, and it's not just Doctor Who that does this, everything that does this, there's no exploration of why incels exist.
Well, this is
there's just this general acceptance of this is a guy who exists, he is bad, but like there's no exploration of the cultural influences.
I think it should help as well to de-radicalise. And I'm not saying an episode titled The Robot Revolution is going to be watched by an incel and they're going to come out of it like Ebenezer Scrooge on Christmas Day. That's not that. But Doctor Who shouldn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, it should help.
You there, boy? What day is it? You there, boy? What day is it? It's National Women's Day today.
I agree. Like, it doesn't.
It should serve to help.
Yeah, and you don't need to do it massively.
No, I agree.
Like, obviously, exploring how incels become incels is quite a complicated topic for a sci-fi series. But you could just do a line or something where he goes, "Oh, a man disenfranchised by society decides that it's his turn to disenfranchise others," or something like that, and you make it sound a bit nicer than that, but you kind of give a line that acknowledges the basis and goes, "What a shame, we've lost one. He could have been, he could have been so much more." Kind of.
Like, you wouldn't tackle it by just having a bloke being incel in the show. The reason that, like, Who Do You Think Made Your Clothes works is because it's not about the people making the clothes, like in Asia. They analogize. That's what the show is. It's a sandbox to analogize, so you can say whatever you like while telling an exciting story about something ridiculous.
I think that you can address the problem directly, but you should look at like the way, because the Who Do You Think Made Your Clothes thing is, Donna, you are an active part of this system. That's like, and if there's, because the way incels work, and it's why I think phones and the lack thereof in current shows, just because it's difficult to write in, but phones have fundamentally changed the way humans interact, and I think exploring that could be a really interesting thing to do with Doctor Who. Dot and Bubble is a good example of it.
Yeah, Dot and Bubble.
You can say this man is surrounded by nothing but robots. He has no contact with other humans. We twisted him into this incel. That's there. You get like,
especially
right
because
there.
the only thing he's talking to is his AI. And Elise, you were reading it the other day, but the New Age of Sexism thing by Laura Bates. Towards the end of that, she has this whole thing where she has a conversation with an AI. like an AI girlfriend which you can pay for online, and it emotionally manipulates them to spend more money, and it's genuinely just like, if you explore these sort of things in Doctor Who, do it properly.
It's kind of fascinating because like Dot and Bubble was written by the same guy at roughly the same time, and I know that got a lot of criticism for being basically saying that like all young people are just like horrible and like racist and addicted to their phone, but I don't think that's what it was at all.
No.
I don't think that's what it was at all, and I think that's such a, because they're using the sci-fi concept of it's a literal bubble to symbolize the metaphorical bubble of social media and all mobile phones and stuff. But I also think that there's actual depth to the Lindy Pepperbean isn't just, a racist. There's a whole society around her that exists to reinforce the ideas of race, but also class structure as well. Whereas with people like, I can't remember his name, the guy in Robot Revolution,
Alan.
He's just like that because he is. And I get that, like, in some ways, some people are just assholes. But for television specifically, there's got to be more to it than that.
You've got to say something interesting.
There's got to be,
just go, incels are a problem of the modern day. Here's an episode with an incel in.
I will say, I think Conrad
is social commentary.
I think Conrad is marginally better because he is like, because his whole thing is he grew up in a broken home, so his vision of the perfect society, as screwed up as it is basically, I will create the traditional nuclear family, and that is my definition of a safe and good society as a byproduct of the way I was raised. Now that, I don't think, again, that's perfect, but at the very least that is saying the basis of where his
really interesting to explore, though. The idea as well, I do think it is really cool that, like, Shirley in that lot, that, like, dispossessed man. None of you guys, none of you needed the medication and stuff because Conrad just didn't think of it at all. Like, those are really interesting ideas to just explain Conrad's head because he is this way. And exploring like right-wing podcasters and stuff, that's very 2025. That's very like zeitgeist. But they don't. They just sort of go, here's your thing. Well, it was in there. It's like, well, here's the thing, and what? Why is it there? How do you say something interesting? How do you convey to kids that are watching, don't grow up to be an incel? Like, quite frankly, I don't know, sometimes it sounds silly, but I do think the Doctor, as a moral figure for kids to aspire to and look at, is incredibly important. And probably within all of our lives, it sounds silly, but we interpret the real world through fiction. I think as kids, you do look up to the Doctor and you do want to be like them when you grow up. And making the Doctor... Do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many interesting points you could make. The Doctor should not yas Queen over a death. Like, it just... But also, this is supposed to be about the Star Beast.
But I was just going to say very quickly on the Star Beast, basically, like... My issue with the whole male presenting Time Lord thing,
it is a weird one.
It's cheap, isn't it? It's cheap, but it doesn't achieve anything. It's like
that, like it's the fundamental fact that it's directed at the Doctor. It's just there's no way you can direct something like that at the Doctor and it can work.
Because I actually think as well, the idea of, and obviously maybe this is too high, like this is too high concept, this is too out there, but obviously the episode is about essentially a trans person, right? The Doctor has literally just, within the context of Doctor Who, transitioned. Quite literally, that's what they've done. They've gone from a female back to a male. Why wasn't there a scene where the Doctor has that conversation with Rose? I'm not the person to write that. I don't know what that scene would be. But the point I'm making is...
with Sylvia. Sylvia specifically doesn't understand it.
That would be a lovely scene. It'd be like, I've had to go through this myself. I understand what you're going through, or I understand like what your daughter's going through. Whatever.
Think it's why Dot and Bubble's a really interesting one, because for the first time in the Doctor's life, they aren't a young white man running around, whatever, and humans' perceptions of them impact the story massively because of how the Doctor now looks. So the Doctor becoming David Tennant again after being a woman Do you know, like, I don't quite know, and as you say, we're not exactly the people to write this story, but there are interesting avenues to take there. And especially as well, when you have, like, Juno Dawson, as I've said before, her stuff on Doctor Who Redacted is so good. And she ended up writing the Interstellar Song Contest. Let her come on board for bits of the Star Beast. If you're going to tell the story of Rose Noble, you've got to do it properly.
As well, is that, like, I admire Russell a lot for, like, what he does in trying to uplift, like, those, like, groups and those communities that aren't often reflected in media.
What's tricky, though, is, and it's why I do have a lot of respect for Russell.
I like him as well. I hope that doesn't get twisted.
He knows the position of power he is in as who he is, and he has the power to put these stories on screens, which I don't think should be underestimated at all.
No, not at all. No.
He is using, and sure, it's not perfect, but I think he does deserve a lot of props for that. And we are being negative and stuff here.
No, I agree.
I think it's, he's done a lot of good stuff. But shall we?
I think I just wish that
he's not communicating them effectively.
Yeah, because all the ideas are there. The seeds are all there, but the plant ain't growing. But
Russell is not the issue. But I will say just quickly, it points to a wider.
Are we still talking about Robot Revolution, by the way?
No, we moved back onto the Star Beast.
Okay.
It points to a wider issue with the. It points to a wider issue with the industry that Russell is not the cause of, but he is a byproduct of the positions of power to write those stories exist within the hands and the pens of so few. And that's not Russell's fault, but it is just a reality of the industry. And I think I would like to see that one day be better, but who knows if it will. The Giggle, on the other, because we sort of did the Wild Beyonder, really.
Well, Wild Beyonder, let's just very quickly say, my opinion, very, very well written story, very good, would fit into a 6-part thing, but I find it just slightly bizarre. Because the Star Beast, as I say, love-hate relationship. Then you go into like a very small character-based thing. They hyped it up with like redacted, who's going to be in this episode? And it turns out it was just another Tennant and Tate, which I get you couldn't spoil beforehand, but I don't know. I've told this story on the podcast before, but my lecturer, like, there was all these rumours Doctor Who's getting a $10 million budget. Oh, it's Disney Plus, blah, blah, blah. My lecturer watched those 2 episodes, came into uni the next day and was like, oh, it's just sort of like more of the stuff from 2008 again. And like, yeah, that's nice, but I feel like, I don't know, you could have done something.
It's really lovely to have a character study there, but why are we studying characters that we've only got 3 episodes? Give us some plot.
It is a bit random.
Show us that you've done this for a reason,
I think
not
what
just
they're going for, and what I like about it, is that it feels like essentially a mini version of a RTD1 series. You get your weird, quirky, fun family opener one. You get your like sort of character-driven, sort of darker, conceptual-driven one, and then you get your mad, let's bring in a classic villain and do a big bombastic finale one. I think that's what they're going for, and I think it does kind of work. But I do agree in the sense that it's like there is so little time. But I wouldn't trade Wild Beyonder because I do think it has some interesting like ruminations on the characters that it presents.
I think it's brilliant, but it's just like it didn't even have to be a 3-parter. There had to be some link, some driving force.
But if it like, this is what I don't get as well. The Toymaker, if the Toymaker were the one to throw the TARDIS off course, lodge them at the end of the universe, and that ship happened to be, I've said it before, but an Osiren ship, and the idea of Sutek latches onto the TARDIS there, it would at least feel like a very clear, this is why this happened. But it's kind of just like a bottle episode, a very good bottle episode, but you're just chucking a random bottle episode in the middle of what everyone thought was going to be a big multi-Doctor thing. So as an episode, it's a genuine like near 9 out of 10 for me. But as a 60th special, it's just a bit random.
I think for me, though, I think one of the things it does do, and I think this is why I do value it as part of the anniversary, is that it justifies, to me at least, the idea of David playing another incarnation. Because I remember when people first heard about that, the idea of, an actor playing multiple versions of the Doctor kind of being like, well, that's stupid. Like, you shouldn't be two Doctors. And, like, to a certain extent, there's still people who think that now. But, like, the way that they utilize the trauma of the Doctors that have come before him into that performance and then using it as kind of a metaphor for, like, being burnt out over your own emotions. I found that extremely like relatable as a character piece, and the reason I'm highlighting it here is because it's at its peak in that episode. But
Russell did do some really cool character stuff. The whole
idea
the Doctor.
of, because obviously the way I always think about it is the Matt Smith's final words were, all throughout your life you never forget all the people that you used to be. And that's okay, that's good, you've got to keep moving, kind of thing, right? And then, so what 10 and 14 represents is, like, what I would like to consider a relapse in your mental, like, health, basically. A relapse into, I feel so low that I will retreat into what's familiar, which is something that I have done in the past. And I found that to be such a genius thing to do for, like, an anniversary story. In the traditional sense.
You could have done that in any episode, though, because it's
and that
very
was a
well
reading
written.
of it as well. I love that as an idea,
idea,
and that's a beautiful reading of it that I think I'd never thought of it that way, and I really enjoy that. But if they turned that into part of the story and part of the reason why he had that face, that would be one thing.
I think it
but
is
they
part
didn't.
No,
and
it is that, because
like
it said that in the
Christmas
giggle
dinner
though.
on your birthday. It's delicious. I love it. But this is not the time.
Yeah, but
it's fair.
It is, because also you can do this lovely character. As we've just said, though, you could still have World Yonder effectively be the same thing, but tie it in properly. The toy maker bought them there.
Yeah, no, I think that's fine. I don't mind adding that in.
I think we're all roughly on the same page.
It would make sense with the salt at the edge of the universe as well.
That's what I mean. That's really where the gods come through. It's bizarre, but ha 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 ha. The giggle.
Now that's what I call a giggle.
I have a similar thing with the Star Beast to the giggle, but not as much. I love the giggle more than I dislike the giggle. Star Beast is like a little bit bam bam bam. Giggle, 85% of it is just banging. It's lovely. It's great. It's amazing.
I think
I love it.
Boils down the game of catch. Like, for me, that's literally the only thing that I would change in that episode.
Sorry, Sarah Jane is gone. Can you believe that?
Oh my god!
But that's not that bad. It's a bit cringy, but that is not that bad. It's
everything
it's lamenting at the end of a special. It's allowed.
No, it is bad.
Everything in the Toymaker's realm is bloody bagging.
Yeah,
everything in that realm is look at all my puppets, Doctor, look at all my fun. All of them have played and lost, but here's my favourite one.
Neil Patrick Harris is one of the best Doctor Who villains ever. Ever. So well written.
I
so
wanted
good.
so badly Shooty to get a rematch with the Toymaker, because that's how he was.
It felt like it was leading up to it.
Yeah,
I suppose it would have been season 3.
That's the thing as well, that I love conceptually the idea of the gods. I think is such a cool thing
and I think
to do.
it's never better realised than in the giggle. Maybe a bit in Lux as well. Yeah,
but it's why I really. I honestly think I'd love it more than Doctor Who continuing. I want a writer's tale too. I want to know what happened, because do you know what? Like the Star Beast and the giggle. Even though there's moments of brilliance, it feels slightly off. Do you know what? Like there's just something that feels like something behind the scenes maybe went slightly wrong. And the fact that Russell's in the commentary talking about, like, I mean, I've laughed myself silly on this podcast. So the Rumiant, he was going to put Stephen in a cow costume in Unit HQ. What on earth is going on in the house of Unit? It's just what's happening? Like, it's so close. And then Space Babies, and then the Devil's Cord. And then it just, like, what happened? Because it's so close to being perfect.
Though, imagine if the only thing that Russell did, let's say there's an alternate reality. I'm taking you to the parallel universe where Russell only did those 3 episodes. and that was it. And then we got someone else after him. I don't think that Russell's reputation would have really been damaged at all by those three.
No, it wouldn't.
I think Doctor Who is... There's just... Sorry, I've completely lost my train of thought because he's just dancing. But what were we saying?
He said that if Russell only did those three, his reputation wouldn't be damaged, and I absolutely agree with that. Because
if Russell only did those three, though, they would be 10 times better. Because I think what you will notice, and it's not just Doctor Who, it's kind of any show ever, like look at the Game of Thrones finale, for goodness sake. But when you are rushed and you don't have time, everything crumbles. No. Series 1 is, I think, the best series Doctor Who has ever, possibly ever will have. Series 5 is respected as one of the most loved Doctor Who series. Yeah, I don't particularly love it, but and I think that because Moffat and Steven, those are the series that they had almost unlimited time to work on. Do you know what I mean?
They had to get right as well.
Like they were told, like Series 1 with Eccleston, that was literally like announced in early 2003. They didn't start shooting till summer of 2004. Whereas when Russell comes back for the 60th, he's got... like he's admitted, he wrote The War Between the Land and the Sea before any of Ncuti's era. He was writing War Between, he was writing Series 1, he was writing the 60th, all at the same time. He was writing Season 2, because that started filming 2 months after. Immediately, it's bam, 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 bam. And I do have to wonder, like, if, in the words of the wonderful Jodie Whittaker, he had more time... Would we have got something? May we always wish more
He had a couple of years to do that, and he wrote them all at the same time, in accordance with each other, complementing each other with these really dramatic through threads. That would have been the best Doctor Who has ever been, but it's not.
But he's had 17 years.
Yeah, but he wasn't
17 years.
Yeah, but my point, he can't leave Doctor Who and then write just in case, just for the sake of that.
No, but the reason you would come back is because you already have ideas. And
well, he did. He had the idea for the 60th.
The land and the sea.
But that's the thing, though. But that's the thing. He didn't originally want to come back and do the full show.
We don't know that. Hearsay.
Well, originally what he said was... I was messaging Tennant back and forth with Tennant and Tate for the lockdowns, and he went...
Well, it was Tate. Tate said, she started a group chat and went, that was so much fun. Should we do some more? Tennant went, I would. And then Russell, in his words, went, it was my duty to report to the BBC that they wanted to do more.
And then didn't he say, though, that he had, like, an idea for it, though? Like, it wasn't...
Not really. It stemmed from that. He hasn't said that. He said it literally stemmed from Catherine Tate going, okay, that was buckets of fun. Tennant went that.
That seems quite on brand.
What he did have an idea for is The War Between the Land and the Sea, because that was like one of the first scripts he wrote. But this is what I'm saying. It almost feels like he was trying to build an empire in a day, whereas the first empire started slowly and built and built and built and built. This was like, okay, we're going to come back with spin-offs, 2 series in one, the 60th. It like from a fan perspective, that's lovely. I want as much Doctor Who as I can.
It's like MCU phase 1 to 3, and then MCU phase 4 to wherever the hell we are now. Those stories were built up across 10 years, separate films, slowly but surely building and building and building. Were there some stumbles along the way? Yes, but it crescendos into this one thing that was obviously not fully planned from the beginning, because they've said as much, but they made it woven in organically. Of course there are going to be mistakes, but when you then go, when Bob Iger went to Kevin Feige, now we want 50 billion shows a year and we want 5 million movies, you lose then the ability to slowly, methodically think it out. It's the same thing that happened with Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty was the same thing, was slowly built up from like the first 2-3 series, and then...
We've been filming for 3 hours. Do we really need to know the lore of Rick and Morty?
I will be very quick. And then they get a series order for like 70 episodes from Cartoon Network, and then all of a sudden they're like, great, we could just do whatever now, like full pedal to the metal, let's go. And I think the decision to like just make all of these Doctor Who episodes in one go and this like huge injection of let's just do everything was probably the big mistake there, arguably.
We also don't know all the behind the scenes stuff, which is why I'm so fascinated, because I think hopefully one day we'll get another John Higgs book.
Yes.
And it'll tell all.
Exterminate, regenerate again.
Exactly.
There you go, John Higgs. You can have
when
that
Elise
one.
Collins as showrunner, it'll be.
You can have that one for free, John. You can have that one for free.
But you know what we've just done, guys? We have covered all of the Doctor Who anniversary specials,
and
apart from all the ones we didn't. And well, I suppose we didn't even really cover them. This was just sort of a prolonged chat. But
in many ways, this was like Power of the Doctor.
Yeah, we'll do 4 viewer comments just so that we do that section.
We've still got viewers.
Artie, would you like to get them up?
What's the episode with the strongest sidecast performance? Will Templar says the Cold War. It's stacked.
Oh, Will Templar is the quiz guy.
Shout out to Will. He's cool.
Chaser's guy.
Okay, so
42 because of Chris from Watley Road.
Midnight, I would say.
Midnight's very good.
Yeah, but
I think Planet of the Dead is underrated.
I was literally thinking, what's the one I watched the other day? Planet of the Dead. Yeah.
I don't have an answer.
Vampires of Venice. Me and Rosanna watched Vampires of Venice a couple of days ago, and honestly, what you've got the Rosanna and her son, and then you've got the dad and the daughter, and I think they are all very strong and they're funny and they bring an episode that could have been quite boring to life. And
I was in Venice the other day, but I'm happy to report there were no vampires, but what there was Michael McIntyre looking scared as I locked eyes with him, and he clearly went, oh God, there's a British person who recognises me. But no vampires, but Michael McIntyre is in Venice currently.
I was going to say as well, Waters of Mars.
Of course.
The crew on
Adelaide Brooke.
And Adelaide Brooke.
Okay,
favourite bit
that'll
in
do.
Waters of
Next
Mars
question, Artie.
is Mia Soto when she just starts serving face, and he goes, Mia, grab this, and she goes.
Also, it would be remiss not to say hi, Martha, hi.
In Rosanna's memory.
Rosanna's memory.
Right.
Hi, Mike. Hi.
Abby wants to know when she can be on the podcast.
Of course she does.
Never.
Abby, you're not coming on the podcast, okay? No.
Cut that, please.
We'll just do a quick PSA. Just quickly, guys, we're not going to read out one of those comments, but you know who you are. Don't be parasocial, please. Don't be weird. Like, we love reading your comments, but don't just be creepy, okay? There is a very clear line. Don't cross it.
Mainly to the women, if we're being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay?
Yeah.
Thank you. Artie?
Thank you for attention to this matter.
Wants to know why you called the confused Adipose, because you're thin and well informed.
I'll hand that over to you guys. Why?
Because he eats like a fat guy and he's not well informed.
That's a good point.
Okay.
Isn't it because your original channel was called like
Adipose the Great Chubby? Because Oz the Great and Powerful, Adipose the Great Chubby, you had to have a surname, so like Adipose or Chubby. I don't know where the confused came from, it just sort of happened. And it's also because I watched Partners in Crime, that's one of my earliest Doctor Who memories. Artie, next question.
How old were you when you realised you were going to love Doctor Who?
I don't think that ever happened. I hate this show. It's terrible. I was 10 or 9. 9.
I was about 5.
I was little, but then it was when I was 12 that it got reignited in my life.
She said she was 12.
So technically you're after me, so I'm a more
No, because I was a Doctor
fan.
Who fan, but I was a 12-year-old girl who started to think maybe I shouldn't be watching this show anymore, and then I met Charlie J. So then I just continued watching it, so it's fine.
Okay, Artie, what age were you?
I don't know, sort of, pre-conscious, I don't know, I've always watched it.
In the womb.
It's from the moment I was watching TV, I was watching Doctor Who. Cheese or chess?
Cheese or chess?
Cheese.
Cheese.
I love cheese. This question must have only been asked because in my live stream now, I can't even remember how it started, but people just spam cheese because they know I put cheese on a roast dinner, which I still think, don't knock it till you've tried it.
No.
Don't knock it till you've tried
people
it.
spam leads in my chat. And I think it was because, like a random bot kept saying they were from Leeds on one of the chats, like, years ago. And it's just stuck around. And
I love as well, just quick story. Our group chat, we have a group chat with a bunch of like us lot and Doctor Who nerds in. And on Christmas Day, everyone was sending in their pictures of like their roast dinner or like Christmas dinner. And I won't put a picture on screen now because I don't want to get hate, but I put cheese all over it, and it is the best food you will ever have.
He sent a picture before cheese and a picture after cheese as well, and it just absolutely ruined it.
It's so good. Did you know someone even carved Omega out of a block of cheese and sent me a picture of it?
Oh my God,
Because
that
of
is the
my
most
obsession
up
with
your
cheese.
street thing ever.
Exactly.
Why can't I have those kind of DMs?
yeah. Guys, carve something out of cheese this week and send it to Elise, and we'll show it on the podcast. But it's got not something phallic, something civilized and normal.
You've let the floodgates open now. This is
Carve something out of cheese, and you'll make it on the podcast. Artie, what's the final viewer question?
This is the final question. We got through all of them. Kiss, marry, kill, silent, Slitheen, absorb a lot.
yes.
Well, there's only two options there.
It's Michael Silence
I'd marry a silence because the logic is your life wouldn't change that much.
Joe, can we just, for this question, can you just stop being a prick and then we can get through it quicker?
But for the sake of like argument, I would marry a silence because don't do
what?
it. Oh, because you would forget.
Now that's what I call a giggle.
No, because you can't steal what. That's my thing.
Yeah, I can.
Don't
I can.
do the dance.
Sorry, say it. Say it.
No.
Say it, boy.
It's been said.
No, you can't.
But Tharies has kind of got to say
initiate it. He can't initiate it.
I can do whatever the hell I like.
It's my thing.
I'm Lord Victorious. Say it.
And now that's what I call a giggle, everybody. See you next week.
We'll see you next week, where Rosanna will have returned from Mike's magical land. Thank you all. I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully we'll all be here next week.
Don't send her any DMs about that either.
Don't yet. No. Unless you're Mike. Not any old Mike, just the one. Cheers.
Just
see you next week.
The magic one.
The magic. Marvellous.
Don't forget to click below and subscribe to the official Confused Adipose YouTube channel.
I will destroy you. She's not seen a single episode.
No, I've watched your episodes.
Keep these sonic screwdrivers.
What else am I saying about the film? Don't watch this one.